Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Tyvis Powell, Jason Lloyd. Plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Happy January 3rd. What is the statute of limitations on when you can still tell someone Happy New Year?
I think
3 days?
I think it's funny that you asked that question because I was, scrolling through Instagram, of course, yesterday in a spiral, and there was a clip from the show Curb Your Enthusiasm,
That's
which I
what
love.
made me think of that.
I think it's similar to the Christmas decorations. To me, it's through the first weekend after New Year's Eve.
So up until January 7th. My thing is, if you haven't seen someone since the first of the year,
right,
you're okay, but not like into February.
No,
that doesn't work.
I'll be catching people in April.
April.
Hey, happy New Year, Tyvis. You know what I'm saying? New Year.
Hey, any reason to spread goodwill?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. At this point, it's just what's up.
Sup?
That's it. You're already off of
What's
Happy
up?
New Year.
Yeah.
What's
Did you
going
ever?
on?
Were you a Happy New Year guy anyhow? Like, were you telling
On the day?
Yeah, just the day.
Just the day.
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
Interesting.
Tyvis really can't appreciate this because he's too young. But for the rest of us, it used to be the first week of the year, for a couple of weeks, really, maybe the whole month.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
You would screw up your checks, right?
You would
You'd be writing the previous
Oh, it's
year.
not 19.
Whoa, hold on.
Are you writing checks? Who writes checks now?
Talk to him.
Okay, all right.
Talk to him.
Do you think I am?
I mean, people don't write checks regularly anymore.
So
I wrote a check yesterday.
I'm about to say it was the first, so
Wait,
rent is due.
McNuggets, the youngest of the crew.
No, Anthony's the youngest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I pay my
Wrote a check yesterday for what?
So
Rent?
my apartment building, it's an extra $60 to pay online as opposed to writing a check, which is absolute horse crap.
That's
So I just paid a
ridiculous.
Wait, they charge you an additional $60 for automatic withdrawal?
No, to pay it through their server because they take whatever fee. So I just pay it via check
Yeah.
and save $60.
You think they'd want you to
It's
pay
horse-
that way?
It's horse
I
crap.
would.
Exactly.
That's bizarre.
I actually have to write one check every 3 months for my sewer bill. You
wonder-
can't pay that online for whatever
wonder
reason.
if people-
That's the only check I write
It's
ever.
2023 and people are still making checks.
Y'all is tripping. Like everybody messes that up. You know there are school children that have to put their dates on
paper.
Their
Yes,
paper. Your
yes,
son
yes.
does it every day.
Yeah.
I just did it. I just said it's 2023 and people
Yeah.
are still
Like,
accepting checks. It's 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
I used
right,
to do
exactly.
that at least into the first week of January.
Always.
When you would go back to school and you'd write it, you'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
no.
Hey,
You're behind.
Hey, McNuggets, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't feel bad. Some of us, we know what the rent is. We know Jay ain't paying no rent. So that's
Well, you wait a second. You own your house.
Hey,
yeah, I
rent.
can
So
say
you're paying a mortgage.
I'm just into the club. What are you
Yeah, I
talking
hear
about? And that could go away any day. Like,
Come on to a red
Not
notice.
going away any day.
now you listen.
Your house will
no,
be
hold
seized.
on. No, there is a fear. When you first buy a house, there's a healthy fear of being like, what if I don't pay this mortgage today?
I swear.
right, sure.
You be
That's a
paranoid as
fact.
hell.
That's a
you I told you, like, dog, like, you gotta understand, like, after a certain amount, if you know, you be like, hold on, now look, if this all goes wrong,
I tell my wife, listen, I came home to the red notice on the door before. Like when I was
That
young, you were like, what is this?
What is this? What is this eviction?
The red notice, is that code for
pink joint,
eviction?
yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know.
I was like, Mommy,
Of course you didn't know.
Mommy, why are there furniture on the curb?
Yeah.
Is that free for
Oh, that red notice, that's the scariest
We're
thing in the
moving.
world.
To the front of the street. All right.
This is free for all.
Busy show. We're doing true or false today.
We do. It's a very special true or false, by the way.
Oh,
First one of the year.
Very
NBC's.
special.
Remember how NBC went on this week on a very special
Yeah.
ER.
Wait,
So this is a very
Two
special
hour.
true or false
Is
on a
this-
2 hour. Yeah,
is this-
on a very special season finale.
Out of curiosity, McNuggets, did Jay do a piece on this person?
Yeah, did
No,
I?
because it's a mismatch of players in this game. I didn't know who was going to play, who was not, so I took
Oh.
a couple of guys
Do
who
we
could.
start over?
It's a mix.
Do we start over from the?
Yes, the 2024
2024
standings.
slates.
True or false?
This is a promise to the UCSS viewers. Anthony, added to his workload for this year, is going to track the winners and losers of games.
Yes.
So
Nice.
That is going to be something
Love
we
it.
actually track in 2024.
I think
just
that's
told
brilliant.
Anthony right now. He's just learning about this. live in the moment. But
Can we get a live shot of Anthony's face right now?
Hey, look.
there's Anthony.
He- no,
Now,
live
he's probably
learning.
responding to my text of asking for water because I forgot to
That's
get a water
Anthony's
before.
2-week
the show.
notice he just handed in. So,
He writes it on a red
if anyone
on a
wants
red
a
slip.
graphic
Ironically
design
enough.
job,
That's
we
crazy.
may be hiring.
All right, so we're going to do true or false. Leroy is here. We'll get to listen to him brag and boast about Michigan moving into the national championship.
He certainly
game.
can't
So
boast about
Titus,
his
get ready
fantasy
for
team.
that. Yeah, he cannot boast about it.
Yeah.
So what should we do about the fantasy punishment? I don't think we let him off the hook.
Yeah, I
guys.
don't think so
don't.
either. I bet he doesn't even know about it.
Does he know about this?
He
And
was
if
part of
not,
the
bad
group
job out of
text.
the commissioner. You got to let everybody that comes in knows there's a
I don't know.
There's a
I
prize.
thought I let him know.
And there's a punishment.
true.
So if we go back to hilarities this year, shouldn't we make him say, listen, you got to fly in specifically to come up here, and you could either do hilarities or you could just take everybody out to eat, Leroy. I love the places you go. Leroy.
Is that it? Is that the punishment?
Yeah.
I'm
because
okay with
people
that.
would love
I mean,
to see
Leroy
him as
has
a
taken us
headliner.
out to eat.
Oh, they would love to
They
see
would
Leroy.
love- they
Leroy
would love.
would pack that place if he
I
came
will
in and
text
did a
Polk.
headline set.
He'd
I
be
saw
funny.
Mike Polk the other day, and we talked about setting up a second comedy show, even though that wasn't the agreed upon punishment, just because we had so much fun last year.
Right,
So
it
I'll
was a
text Polk
blast.
again today to see if we can get that in motion.
Okay, good, because that was a fun night.
It was
a
very
lot
fun.
of fun.
It was very fun.
I mean, McNuggets killed it on the mic. He
He-
finished last in our
I'm running
fantasy
it back.
last year.
Even though I didn't finish last, I'm definitely
Listen,
getting back up there.
can you understand the bag? He killed it so much that he just got a significant other, like
That's
right
true.
after that.
That's true.
That's
I
crazy.
Is
mean-
that where Miss McNugget happened?
yeah.
No, I mean, she came. She was there that night.
Oh, hello.
Boy, super, super. Oh my gosh, I just got back.
I think that was the
attendance
night
that
that
night.
relationship went to the next level.
Well, apparently, according to Mikey.
It was a very successful night. What can I say? Winning on and off the stage.
Don't have her be mad at you, bro.
No,
Yeah.
she's a sweet young lady.
She's
I
very
think we've
good.
all
Love
met
you,
her.
lady.
Love
She's
you.
wonderful. She's a big fan of the show, right?
She is. I'm probably gonna get a text in a second. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
it's coming.
Yeah,
She's off today, so I'm sure she's watching.
Yeah.
Stop
I
talking
just
about
got
our
the text.
personal life on
Anthony?
the air, McNuggets.
Anthony, you want to read the
Hey,
text?
they don't call
Yeah,
them nuggets
it's
for
a
nothing.
crying face emoji, and it is from the correct Gabby this time.
Yeah, that's a whole other story. Whoops.
Ooh, listen, you
All right,
over
hey, we
there.
got a lot to get to today, though, including some Dalvin Cook potential news. But first, a read from FanDuel, and I got a special winning ticket for you guys today.
Oh, good.
The NFL's regular season may be wrapping up, but there's still plenty of time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets. Win or lose, just place a $5 bet if you're a new customer, and you get that $150 in bonus bets. The app is easy to use, and there are so many different options to bet on, including live same-game parlays. You can find bets in the new Explore tab. You can make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, which is the best way to find popular parlays, and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to kick off the NFL season and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL. And check out this winning FanDuel ticket from Pickle Nick. This is from the Thursday night
From
game.
who?
Pickle Nick.
Pickle Nick.
Pickle Nick
Come on, man.
hit a
He
two-part
said
parlay,
something else.
a Browns defensive touchdown and a Jets defensive touchdown in that Thursday night win. He turned $1 into $71.46. How about Pickle Nick with the two-parter defensive touchdown combo for the win?
I
We
be
gotta
like,
change this stuff.
I be feeling like bull on that, man. Just imagine if he just would have put
Right?
$10
I
on
know.
that. Woo-wee.
I know, but what's really cool about that bet, guys,
Yeah.
is you can make a similar bet on any game in the world, and it will give you so much more rooting interest. You're watching every single second of that game.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what happened, what was going on in his house when, because the Jets had the first pick six, didn't they, or was it
No,
the
the
Browns?
Browns did.
The Browns
Yeah.
did. When the Jets took the second one in, he's probably a Browns fan. He was rooting for the Jets
Right,
to
right,
get a
right.
pick six, and it happened.
And when you're only betting $1 or whatever,
That's what makes it
there's
fun.
no risk,
You
really.
can make 20 of those
Yeah.
in a night, and Pickle Nick is onto something.
Yeah, Pickle Nick.
Pickle Nick.
There's a restaurant on the east side called
on,
Pickle
man.
Bill's. I've
Pickle
been
Bill's.
there once.
It's a fish place, right?
Yeah, it's
Well,
right on the water.
Well, Pickle
Yeah.
Nick obviously watches Rick and Morty because he got there from Pickle Rick.
Really?
Okay.
Do y'all know what Rick and
Jay, you don't
Morty
even eat
is?
fried fish, right?
I don't
Nothing?
eat any fish.
No fish.
No,
No
nothing at all.
seafood, period.
By the way, just got a text from Wifey, and she said that we too, Bull, write a check every month for water and sewer, every 3 months.
See, there you go.
Come on, let's get with the times.
So she
you know that
writes the
Cleveland,
check.
and this is big news.
That's funny.
Do you know that when I moved here, and I parked downtown for the first time on 9th, and I got out of the car and I was like, I'll probably have to download an app for their local park.
Yes.
And it was coin operated.
Right.
And I looked at it like, where the hell am I right now? I hadn't used a coin for parking, I don't know since when. They just now struck a deal with a company that they're going to finally replace all of the coin-operated meters downtown
You didn't have no
with
change?
the app.
You had no change?
No, who cares change?
Yeah.
Whoa. Everybody got to change in their little.
I got a little. I
I
had the bag of change.
Okay, so that's true. I knew, but it was empty.
Yeah.
Now it's full. Because,
After a couple of weeks, that bag only has like nickels and dimes.
yes, because you used the quarters.
No, you got it. My grandmother had this big old bear, a clear jug. It was big. I don't know what
But
bear.
you can't keep that in the car.
No, it's in the house. It was at the house.
You hijacked it every once in a while.
She was like, one day
Everybody
She had an alarm.
she was going to get all those packages to put them in the bank.
Yeah, the paper roll.
Yeah. Put it in the thing.
Hey, man, you roll them quarters up, man.
$10.
That's a lot of
$10
money,
to roll
bro.
quarters.
In
Y'all
Lakewood, they
funny
switched
for
over a
this.
couple of years ago, and it makes it so much easier.
Oh, it's beautiful. You just type it into the app, and,
Yeah,
and
that's it.
All right, so we're glad that Cleveland's finally getting into
Yes.
the 21st century.
Beautiful.
Okay, Dalvin Cook, free agent, guys. Free agent. The Jets said bye-bye. They parted ways. The Browns could sign him if they were interested. We know that they have had a problem at running back this year, certainly with Nick Chubb going out. Tyvis, you're rolling your eyes.
I ain't said nothing.
Well, then you're going to start.
I ain't said nothing.
Are you at least kicking the tires on Dalvin Cook?
So this is my thing, Jay. This is my
It
thing.
always starts that way.
Yeah, I know it.
What? Dalvin Cook, if you telling me I'm getting number 33 from the Vikings, like, cool. Like, that's a, yes, we
The
go
old
get,
Dalvin
yeah,
Cook.
we get him tomorrow. But it's a reason that this guy's numbers is like this. Like, and people are like, well, he had Breece Hall in front of him. Listen, if he was that good, there's no way you're going to tell me that they're going to keep him off the field. Why would you keep a productive running back off the field? If anything, you will want that so you could take hits off of Breece Hall so he could be more healthy towards the end of the season. You can go with a 1-2 punch.
Right.
It just ain't the same. It ain't the same. And I'm looking at our running back room, okay. Jerome Ford, Kareem Hunt, Pierre Strong. What does he bring to the table that you can't get out of those three? That's what I'm having a hard time with. Like Jerome Ford, he kind of had bad vision and he kind of tiptoed a little bit. But the Jets game, he actually ran pretty hard. He broke some tackles, found some creases, and made some nice moves. If he's going to continue to play like that, I'll take that any day of the week. So I don't know what he brings here that we don't have already. That's where I'm struggling with.
G. Bush, you guys interested?
I'm not interested. Listen, again, like we said with Jarvis Landry, there's no downside necessarily, beyond who maybe you'd cut off the roster. But I saw the stat from my man Cleve TA. Who said, because somebody had said, it might have been Earl in our chat group, said, well, the Jets' offensive line's bad, which is true, although Breece Hall's been pretty good. They have stats for everything, though, of course. So on all NFL runs where there's perfect blocking, the offensive line did their job. He is bottom 10 in the league in yards per carry in those situations. Bottom 10 in the league.
What is that stat called? Is that an efficiency stat?
Yeah,
running back.
It just says he has a bottom 10 lowest yards per carry among all NFL running backs on perfectly blocked runs. So it's not his offensive line.
Okay, that though isn't that subjective on perfectly blocked runs?
I guess there could be some subjectivity to it, but it's clear it's not going to be to the point where, okay, that was a disaster by the offensive line.
Kind of like our PFF grades, right?
Yeah,
like it's a number.
It's a number. And then the standard numbers for him are not good. Obviously, his yards per carry is awful. His efficiency numbers are bad. And if you look back at the analytics of his numbers last year, in Minnesota, he had already started to decline. And that's why they cut him, essentially.
Well, that's why I said number 33. Not number 3 from the Vikings, number 33.
How old is Dalvin Cook?
Oh, he's not that, like 27.
I think he's under 30.
Dalvin Cook is 28 years old.
But
and
here's the
stay
thing, guys.
28
Guys get old quick sometimes.
At that position, a lot of guys go over the hill at 28. We've seen it time and time again.
You know what? That gives me such an appreciation for guys like Emmitt Smith
Sure.
Guys that played
Adrian
that position.
Peterson.
Adrian Peterson was another one. Guys that played that position.
What I will say
He gets so many hits.
about him is, if I'm the Browns, I'd sign him to practice squad. I put him on the practice squad.
As just a body,
or insurance,
just in case.
Yeah, insurance.
I just think there's teams that maybe would give him more of an opportunity. Like Kansas
I think
City's
you
down
said
to
it
one
in the
running
chat.
back
I
right
think
now.
you said this in the chat, and I
Yeah.
agreed. There are teams that would need him more than we do.
Right, Baltimore doesn't really has like one back right now. Kansas City's got 2 of their 3 backs hurt.
This is
Yeah, that'd be a good landing spot
This
for him.
is the craziest analogy of all time, and hopefully this will shut this down. Use this argument against anyone who says there's a reason for he's on the market. All of us have significant others. I'm pretty sure we're not the first person we've ever saw our significant others in the world. They've been out here. Maybe they've had boyfriends, maybe they haven't. Maybe they've been married before. It's like saying, you know what? Why is this woman single? If she was so great, somebody else would have got her, right? No, maybe you just got lucky. Maybe you saw something in her that these other idiots did not see. And when we talk about sports, we always say, well, somebody else, maybe they were right. They would have kept him. No, intelligence is not really big in our country. Like, everybody ain't smart. Matter of fact, it might be 3% of the people that really have some sort of common sense. A lot of times, this kind of stuff comes down to opportunity, motive, and what this guy still has left. A lot of times we look at what the guy has left and forget about the opportunity and the motive. If you get Dalvin Cook in here, he's going to be motivated just like Joe Flacco. We see it all the time. We heard about Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt's washed. Get him up out of here. He has 10 touchdowns. He can feel a position. He can feel a role. When you bring in veterans, you ain't trying to ask him to be the 33. He don't got to be 33 for the Vikings. What he can do is he can catch the ball out of the backfield. What he can do is cause some mismatches. What he can do is give you a little bit more burst than Pierre Strong. So when I'm looking at these moves,
But the numbers will say he can't.
But my thing is, my argument
Pierre Strong
is,
doesn't play anyway.
my argument is,
and I think he should, opportunity.
so you said, what can he do? Catch the ball out the backfield. Well, Jerome Ford is supposed to be like one of the best backs out there. That's what I
hold
hear.
on.
Jerome Ford, listen, I've been down on Jerome Ford all year, but he's coming off his best game of the
He
season.
had one game. I don't know why we always do this. Some people, we will discount 5 games. He'd be like, Joe Flacco, they'd be like, man, I got to see it again 6 times.
Look who's talking to me.
Well,
Mr. Deshaun Watson?
Hey, 5 and 1, what you mean?
Gee, that's confirmation
Look at
bias,
this.
what you just said. Like, if we believe that a guy
That
still has
dude-
something left, then we've pushed to the side all of the negative numbers and everything else.
Yep.
I will say this. I texted you guys this yesterday. We've had a pretty good run with Jets castaways. And I'm not saying that Calvin Cook is going to be the same thing, but I think I have the answer to this question. We're in a situation where we want to do what? We want to go into the playoffs healthy.
Loaded.
We want to eliminate the number of hits that our big playmakers take. So here's the answer. You call him up. You get him here by tomorrow. He goes through practice. Running backs can assimilate into an offense pretty quickly. He comes into the offense, and you make him your workhorse for Week 18. He gets 25 carries, and it's an audition. And here's what you tell him. We're going to rest our guys. We most likely will go back to Ford as our lead pony. But show us. Show us what you have. 25 carries have your name on it this week. What if he goes for 157 and 3 touchdowns? I mean, it's possible.
Bengals have a bad run defense.
I think what that does is that eliminates any questions down the road. Because let's just say, for example, he signs with Kansas City and has that game in Kansas City. What are we all going to say? We could have had him. Could have been ours.
And I'm a big proponent of being aggressive. I didn't get here by being stagnant. If we didn't go look at Joe Flacco, if we didn't bring back Kareem Hunt, if we wasn't going out finding Dustin Hopkins, if we were not aggressive on just those 3 positions, you sitting here talking about the draft. Don't get to the gates and turn around and say, well, we don't need anybody. No, I'm always need some people. I always need to bring them in.
I can't remember.
Resume. Bring them in.
Listen,
I can't.
in the end, like I said, there's no risk. Who can't? If
Right.
they bring him in,
That's
they
why
bring
I
him
say
in.
bring
That's
him in and
what-
let him play
yeah.
one
But
game.
my guess is he's got nothing left in the tank. The guys you're mentioning, none of them had played. Hopkins they signed it. They got at the beginning.
Well,
of the
DeAndre
season.
Hopkins was a guy that
He lost his
I
job.
wanted to bring him in.
No. You talking about Dustin Hopkins?
But Dustin Hopkins had lost his job.
Yeah, but DeAndre
Well,
Hopkins was another one that's in
right.
this exact same boat. We talked about him in the offseason. He's available. He fits a need for us. Let's go get him.
Right, we wanted him too, but he had come off a good year. He wasn't coming off a bad
Yeah,
year.
but there were those
That's
that
the
said he's
difference.
over 31. He's washed up.
Agreed, but the difference between that is he was still pretty good last year, right? And Flacco and Kareem Hunt hadn't played, whereas Dalvin Cook has played this year, and he's been arguably one of the worst
Good
backs in the
point.
league.
What was Cook's numbers last year? Do you have them available?
I do, yeah. Dalvin Cook has not been the same player in the last couple of seasons. I'm
Okay.
going to pull up his Pro Football Reference page. But last season, in 2022, his traditional numbers were pretty solid. He did run for 264 carries, 1,173 yards, and 8 touchdowns. His yards per carry were right around league average. The year before, he was slightly more yards, slightly fewer touchdowns. In 2020 was when he went bonkers. 1,600 yards in 14 games with 16 touchdowns. He hasn't been that player.
So he's 3 years removed from his Pro Bowl numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
But those numbers last year.
I mean, he was
I
a
think
Pro
he's
Bowler
worth the
last
kick of the
year,
tires,
so-
guys. I
Fine.
really do. Bring him in.
I just
let him
don't
be your
like who are you
workhorse.
taking carries away from?
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
You save any hits that might possibly be injury related
Yeah.
on your main running backs. And I still want to see Pierre Strong. So
Yeah.
maybe I would bring him in, give him 20, give Pierre Strong 10. I don't think I can safely say we're not going to throw it 40 times this week.
Probably
With
not.
Joe Flacco not in there. So let's test the run game. Let's use this as a practice run for the playoffs. We have an opportunity to try to fine-tune the running game. And guys, every once in a while you scratch a lottery ticket and you hit. That's what this is.
You never know.
You've got it in front
You
of
never
you.
know.
Pay the money, scratch it off, and see what's there. And if he does
Yeah.
have a huge game, now you go into the playoffs. Every team you face is going to be thinking, at least, wow, Dalvin Cook still got something left.
Yeah, that's possible. Not a bad idea. And in the end, I don't think they're going to sign him. But again, anybody you sign at this time of the year, it's no money or essentially no money, and there's no risk. The
Right.
Browns today signed a veteran offensive lineman who's
Yeah,
from
Bedford.
your hometown.
Yes.
Bedford,
Tell
right?
us a little bit about
Saffold.
this guy. He had a decent career,
He's a
didn't
Pro
he?
Bowler
He's a
last
Pro
year.
Bowl, yeah, with
His Pro Bowl last year?
with Buffalo.
And he's been a Pro Bowler the last 2 seasons, and he's on the practice squad this year. I tried looking into why. I couldn't find it, but he was a Pro Bowler last year in Buffalo. He's a Pro Bowler the year
Didn't he
before
play
in
for the
Tennessee.
Niners?
No, he played for the Rams.
Hey, what,
Oh,
You're thinking of there's another guy who used to play offensive line for the Niners who's also from the area.
Okay. That's
I can't think
probably
of his
who I'm
name,
thinking
but
of.
that's probably who
right.
you
So
think.
So he plays
Oh.
guard?
He plays
There's a
guard
white
in
dude.
2021.
Alex Boone.
Boom.
Right.
Yeah.
As
He's
a
bump
member
guy.
of the Tennessee
Yeah.
Titans, he was a Pro Bowler.
Well-
Last season with Buffalo, started all 16 games. Was
That's
a Pro
bizarre.
Bowler.
Wait a minute. How does that happen that a guy who starts all 16 of the 17 games last year
Oh,
For a good
yeah, my
team.
bad.
and is a Pro Bowler and he's out of football?
And
Here's
He
a
was on the
bizarre
Jets-
thing, too, is the last 2 years at age 33 and 34 were his only Pro Bowl season. He had never been a Pro Bowler before that.
I got a question for you guys. Man, this is just a thought.
Weird.
I wonder if him being from Cleveland, you would think it would be a lifelong dream of his to play for the Browns. I wonder if they didn't have a gentleman's agreement. I don't want to play this year. I'm going to stay in shape. But if you guys become a playoff team, I would love to come on board and join the playoff ride for my hometown
He was on
team.
the Jets practice squad, though.
What's
So
that?
He was on the Jets practice squad.
Oh, he was.
He
Yeah.
was.
So we snagged him off the Jets practice squad.
No, he
Yes,
got
sir.
released, and then he got released yesterday, and the Browns signed him to
That's
that.
just so weird to
But
me.
he had been on the practice squad.
How does a
He'd been on
guy?
the Jets practice squad.
How does a guy go from a Pro Bowler last year and he can't get on the field for a team that has one of the worst offensive lines in the game?
So my only theory, and G, please tell me if this makes any sense or no sense. He's 34 years old. He's about to turn 35. Offensive linemen don't have the longest shelf lives. I assume, and this is just me piecing the puzzles together, or putting the pieces of the puzzle together. He was about to retire. The Jets were like, please, we need some help. Come. I'm not sure how long he was on the practice squad. All I know is he was on the Jets practice squad.
Okay,
So
maybe-
maybe like, it's the only thing I can think of, G. Can you think of a reason why a guy who made back-to-back Pro Bowls was all of a sudden out of football with no league? He had no legal issues. He's completely squeaky clean in that regard.
Well, there's thing that we call self-scouting. sometimes teams are just bad at self-scouting. Have you ever noticed, that you keep trotting out the same guys and they keep giving them opportunity. You're like, what are they seeing in this guy? What are you seeing? And then there's some guys that, Tyvus could tell you, there's some guys that bust their tail in practice, make plays in practice, make big-time plays, do everything the coach wants them to do, and then guess what? They don't get any run. No plays.
Man, I could get the answer. You know how I can get the answer? My agent texted me right now about him, and me and him share the same answer.
So he signed with the Jets.
Just ask him. Right?
Wait, you had the same agent?
Yeah, me and Roger had the same agent. That's how I got my agent, because
nice.
Roger.
So,
okay.
It
couple
was like
things
a,
here. He signed with the Jets on October 31st, so he'd been out of the league. He was not retiring. I read that he said he wasn't playing. He wasn't retired.
What info do you have from the agent?
I'm about to ask him right now.
I thought
he's
you already
literally
had it.
texting me.
What's interesting, though, is like the Browns, if anything, need a tackle. And he came out of college as a tackle his first 3 years, but for the last decade he's played guard.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We listen. Hey,
that might be one of those under the radar moves that we look back on and say, what a home run that was.
Because you know what it gets real, Jay. If you win the first round, and I'm not fast forwarding nothing, don't tell me that I'm not looking past whoever come out of the South. But if you win that game, it's all hands on deck after that.
Sure.
Because now it get real.
Right.
Now it's like, okay, well, I don't care if you've been here all year. I'm playing the best people to give me a chance to win.
Right.
And that gives them a couple weeks to ramp up, see what they got, and who
might
knows?
be one of those moves that we look back on and say,
Weird.
That didn't seem like much at the time.
Yeah.
We didn't think much of the Hopkins signing at the time. We thought, well, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Doesn't have a huge leg from over 50. He's been great.
I can't find anything, and I swear to you, I'm looking through all the articles on Roger Saffold I could find as to why this guy.
I'm getting.
Yeah, I couldn't find
got
anything
the
either.
3 dots.
Okay, so his agent right now is
Wait, don't
in writing mode.
Yeah.
Tyvus, who's the agent? Can we give him a shout out?
No, he's texting him right now.
No, I know, but who? Like, let's
Oh,
give
my
the guy a
agent,
name.
my agent,
Yeah, who's your
Jared
agent?
Fox, Sports Stars, baby.
And that's Roger's agent too.
Yeah.
And you are with this agency because Roger, who went to Bedford,
Yeah.
did he go to Bedford High School?
Yes, he did.
Your high
Bearcat.
school.
Yeah.
He said to you, here's who you need to sign with.
Yeah.
How
Let's
about
get
that?
Roger on the show.
Hell yeah.
The
do it.
Jets,
Go
by the
right
way,
to the source.
the Jets, by the way, who have had him on the practice squad now for
October
2 months and
31st.
change.
8 weeks.
have started 6 different players at right guard this season. And
He
Roger
didn't play at
Saffold
all, right?
Did not play a single
Yeah.
That
snap.
is
weird.
stunning to me. that
Because,
is a mystery.
by the way, the article I was reading on October 31st said they were signing him to put him on the roster. And that didn't happen, though. So
I
who
wonder
knows?
if
I
he
wonder if
came
he
in
has to
and
be
wasn't
released.
in game shape.
I guess
because
so.
his last game would have been 9 months earlier.
Yeah. We were
wonder
talking
if he
about
just like
Lyle
Dalvin
Collins
Cook
as an
has to be
offensive
released.
lineman. He just signed with the Cowboys
Oh, did
yesterday.
they? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm
Teams,
assuming.
I tell you, these teams now that know they're in the playoffs,
Yeah.
they're beefing up their weaknesses.
Again, we talked about it yesterday with Jarvis Landry, which to me is a much bigger need than Dalvin Cook.
They
I
need to
agree.
talk to-
Hey,
listen.
I sent you a video of a guy I do think the Browns should at least bring in for a tryout. Is there
Yeah,
any way
give me
we
a
can
sec. I
tagboard
can
that
pull it
and
up.
show it? You guys haven't heard of this guy. Most
Yeah.
people haven't. I hadn't before seeing this video.
He said.
By the way, the Browns did cut their punter from last week, so
So Bajorquez
Bajorquez
is clear.
is probably
in
good
all
to go.
likelihood, he's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
He,
Go ahead.
he just said that he was an alternate. He said, but he think he is just a little late in his career. He said he agreed that he should have been playing because the Jets line's not good.
There you
but
go.
That's just the Jets. He said.
Yeah, I think the Jets are just a team
So-
that can't get out of their own way. They're the Browns from 6 years ago.
They're not very good.
7 years ago.
Not very good teams make not very good decisions.
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, that's well said. That should be a bumper sticker.
It should. I might have a T-shirt for that. That's
And
crazy.
you could have made it in brown and orange, but now you can make
Yeah.
it in green and white.
Ne-
'Cause they're
never
not very
bad
good.
to have a veteran offensive lineman join the team.
No, that's like
Especially
an
a local
ace
guy.
in your hand that you need to throw at some point
Yeah.
later in the game. Do we have that running
We
back
do,
video?
yeah, Jay. You somehow, and kudos to you for being a scouting
scouting
guru.
now?
He was going
Well, I
through
found this
all
guy.
the footage.
If you kick over enough rocks, you find some.
So you want to set
this
up
is-
where you found this guy, and potentially, if they don't get Dalvin Cook, this could be the other guy. That
Yeah,
they get?
I learned of this guy on this this application that you can actually download on your phone, so you guys can scout as well. I think it's called Instagram. And you see the crazy stuff there. Is that it? The kids call it. Hold on, the kids call it the gram. Or is that old now?
IG.
IG. That was the program.
So I'm an OG from the IG. And here's a guy that I found.
You just canceled yourself.
I probably did. But I do think, though, now in all seriousness, you guys laugh at the old man.
Yeah.
But when this guy is scoring touchdowns for the Browns in February,
all right.
I did there?
Yeah,
what I did there?
Yes.
You guys are going to come back to me and say, you should get some sort of a championship share.
I got to see the gag.
Take a look.
What is the gag?
This kid can run. This kid can run. Look at this guy. Hey, he's rumbling, bumbling. Look at this.
Hey, no, listen.
And he's got dog in him. Look here. Look at he's got orange on.
Bro. So this
He's wearing 32 for Jim
Watch this
Brown,
move.
too.
Watch.
No.
Watch what he does here.
Damn.
No, the most impressive is his speed cut coming up here in a minute. After he throws this guy off, I know this guy. I watched.
Oh my God!
Watch this speed cut right here. Get upfield, Tyvus. You see that?
You know what's funty about that?
He's moving though.
Tyvus, you versus him, Oklahoma drill.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm shooting
Tyvus is the
right
bug,
at the
and he's
thigh,
the windshield.
and I guarantee you, his legs gonna fly right up under him.
Yep.
Because he ain't got no knee lift like that. Straight through. That's one of the ones you do not stop.
Lord.
You shoot straight
Yeah,
through
that's
the
what that
thigh.
guy thought,
Can't be
too.
trying to
Straight
tackle
through
him
the
up
thigh.
high.
No, I'm not tackling him up high. This is a shot. This ain't no rapping, nothing. You just throw your whole body weight right at his thigh. He going
What
right
are we
down.
looking at that they're playing full contact football without a pad?
It's AFL. I'll be watching these do it.
I knew you would
Anybody
know.
that sit there and wait is crazy.
He went down the AFL YouTube rabbit hole.
Yes.
I used to play tackle football as a kid with no equipment.
That's
didn't
how I
you?
play. That's
Yeah,
how
but
everybody
you don't
plays.
see grown men doing
No,
it.
no,
I've
no.
never
That's
seen
weird.
that.
That's weird.
So these guys, they cut the field in half like it isn't as wide. But, pause. Never mind. We just not even going to get to that. Let's go to the next story. I don't want to
All right,
talk
well,
about
while we're waiting on Leroy, we're going to save the P.J. Walker versus Jeff Driskel discussion for a sec, but we got a few minutes. Actually, no, here's Leroy right now, so we're going to bring Leroy in.
There it is.
Read from FanDuel. The regular season may be wrapping up, but there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets. Win or lose, the app is simple to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, like live same-game parlays. You can find bets in the new Explorer tab. You can make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, which is the best way to find popular parlays, and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL. And Leroy, welcome. The floor is yours.
What's up?
With the shirt you're wearing. So take it
Oh,
away,
Leroy
my
with the shave.
Yeah.
He looks so much
Facial
younger.
hair is gone.
He looks younger, doesn't he?
Wow, he does.
My
Why
wife
no
put the
crack?
kibosh on that.
Hey, you know, that could be. When did you shave that?
Saturday?
After or before? Oh, no, that was before Michigan's win.
Before.
Wow, that's you're.
That was bold.
Yeah,
I was
that's a bold move, Cotton.
supposed to go out there
Oh, why did you go?
because I just had knee surgery.
What?
Wow, we didn't even know.
I
about
didn't even
that.
know that.
What did you do?
I had meniscus. They had to cut some meniscus off both sides, and I had a cyst on my knee.
Whoa, how did that turn out? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I had it the Thursday before Christmas.
Wow, we didn't even know. Well, I hope you're healing well.
Feel well.
Now, this is,
Hey,
how many
hey,
men have
let me
now?
explain something. Let me explain something to you guys. You know me well enough. If my mouth is working, I'm showing up. I'm coming with a cast on my hand.
Yeah.
I'm
You have.
coming with a limp. But
Yeah.
my mouth working, I'm good, baby.
He's good.
Pause.
Go.
Hey,
By the way, I think we should show Leroy the video we just played and get his analysis on that guy as a running back.
Give us a scouting report on
Can we do
this.
that?
I think the Browns should sign this guy. What do you think? Let's
Yeah.
roll the video again. You can
You're-
talk over it, Leroy.
Woo. Hey, Bush. Get him, Bush.
Hey, look, hey, look, Bow, look, hey, sweet feet.
Look at him working. Watch his feet. Hey.
Watch the speed cut. He gonna have a speed cutter.
Watch this
coming
guy
up here in
jump
a minute.
over him.
Get out. Get off me. Get upfield, big boy.
Damn.
I'm telling
Turn in the
you.
corner.
That guy's a load.
Hey,
I'm serious.
Can I just say this? Can I just say this?
Sure.
Yeah.
They playing flag football.
No, that's tackle. It's called the AFL.
Tackle to the ground.
Tackle football.
Backyard football.
Yeah.
That's the real deal.
Oh, okay. Well, you still can't get hit for real. And I would love, like I tell people all the time, there's nothing more terrifying than leaving college and one of your first assignments is to block LT. Okay? Ain't no LTs on that field. and so the mother, hey Ty, you can say this too. You face some guys and you like, wow, this ain't Ohio State anymore, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. In the league, absolutely.
So like, yeah, okay, like that looks great. With, you got a little mouthpiece in, a little angry mouthpiece, and all that them pads. Listen, somebody would concuss him within the first 5 minutes of the game because he ain't never been hit like that.
Leroy, they trying to get you caught up. They try to throw you that little softball, get you talking for 10 minutes on the big fella. But we all know what we came to see today. We need to get into what we need to talk about. Talk about your boys and how they moving right now.
Yeah, congratulations, Leroy.
I'm going to say this. There's nobody who was more shocked at the way that defense played. I mean, have you ever seen a Alabama offensive line look that big and slow?
You're exactly right.
And so I was shocked. And I was also shocked that all they had to do was put 4 guys on one side and then bring a safety down, and they acted like that safety didn't exist. So I want to know what game plan was that you could see the whole time. I'm watching my TV, and I'm like, uh-oh, here come a sack. And the guys I'm watching the game will say, why? I say, because the whole game, they ain't paid attention to that weak side safety coming down. And guess what? So I don't know what kind of game plan that was. I was really impressed with the fact of the way they contain Melrose, right? Because he has, when all things have failed, he is one of the fastest guys on the field, and he's made plays with his feet, and they kind of eliminated that because they had enough speed to get to him before he could get free. So it was, and all that being said, Alabama is still Alabama, and it went into overtime.
Yeah.
So I was still sitting on the edge of my seat even then.
Hell, that fourth
because
and
it's
two
Alabama.
Pickup, that 4th and 2 pickup on Michigan's last drive in regulation, that was the game. I felt like if Alabama could come up with a stop there, they're sitting pretty. And every time Michigan needed to make a play, it didn't matter what side of the ball it was, Leroy, their lines on both sides may be the best in the sport right now.
But here's the most incredible thing. And we all look at sports differently. And I'm looking at the dumb wide receiver that block a dude right in the back.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And then I'm thinking to myself, how often does a player in any sport get to redeem himself
the very
that
next
quickly
play
after that mistake?
Yeah.
That's right.
I was like, wow.
You know what, Leroy? Was that Harbaugh saying, I mean, he's wearing the number 1 jersey at Michigan. You know what that means. Was that
Greg
Harbaugh
McMurtry,
saying,
Anthony, yeah.
I believe in this kid, let's go right back to him?
I don't know. He was pretty damn open most of the time. So, like, it's not like he had a choice. And that one play that when the ball was tipped, that's a hard thing to do because you jumping.
Yeah. You aren't kidding.
You jumping as if that ball's not tipped.
And you got to stay in the air.
Tipped. Woo! So that was a hell of a play. And then the play on the goal line was just a hell of a design. I mean, that was something special right there. But even then, because
it was
now
Alabama. Leroy, sorry to cut you off, but 2 things.
Yeah.
First of all, what the hell was Alabama thinking on that last play of the game in overtime? What kind of play call was that?
Here's the thing that confused me.
Yeah.
The only thing that confused me was they didn't spread them out enough.
No.
Like you were in a tight run situation, so I assumed that they were going to roll him out to do the opposite of what you look like.
Yeah.
And they got all those blockers in there and then dropped back and then ran them. And then the other thing was, the thing about Melrose was he got very impatient. So, normally quarterbacks that run these draws, they'll give a couple of little pats of the ball and then go.
Right.
He was going like a running back, and he didn't let nothing clear out at all.
Yeah, he did not.
So he was a little impatient also.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Corum was fantastic on the touchdown run to win it. How good is he going to be in the NFL? You think he's going to be a big-time back or no?
It's hard to tell with running backs in college sometimes.
Yeah.
Because the most important aspect of a running back, and like he'll go to the combine, he'll be strong, he'll run whatever he runs. But the most important thing about a running back is his ability to see in his explosiveness. Yeah. Right? So one of the biggest misnomers about running back is when people say, oh, he has the ability to take it to the house. Any play could go to the house. Well, guess what? That don't happen that damn much. But you know what does happen? 5-yard gains, 4-yard gains, not getting lost yards, turning 5-yard into 10 yards, stuff like that. And so you could have really fast guys that have the ability to take it to the house at any time, and they can't never get in open field.
You know what I like about him, though, Leroy, about Blake? Because, I did I was with the Big Ten this year, so I had to cover them. I went through the season when we did the Big Ten championship. I did not know he did not fumble the ball one time this year. Did you know that?
You could tell. Wait, you could tell on that touchdown they pulled on it and he turned with it.
He always gets the ball tugged. He does not fumble the football. But I'm gonna tell you what, he gonna end up as a Charger. He gonna replace Austin Eckler because Jim Harbaugh gonna be the coach there next year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
By the way, whoa. By the way, Leroy said that 3 months ago.
No,
and he was right then.
No, we said that. We asked you about that like 3 weeks ago.
Well, no, Leroy said.
I said it because after the Chargers start losing, I'm like, there's no way he survives. And with that quarterback, and with that defense, and with that, that's a Jim Harbaugh soft landing area.
Was it true that the Chargers owner was at the game?
Well, I don't know if he was at that game, but they had a meeting or something
Someone
like that.
texted me that the Chargers owner.
Well, here's all you need to know.
It was at the Rose Bowl.
Here's all.
I don't know about the Rose
You guys are looking at the wrong things. Let me tell you what. When they announced this, then I start worrying. Jim Harbaugh has signed an agent.
Right. Did it?
Yeah.
You ain't
I saw
signing an agent. You
Well,
ain't
wait.
signing an agent to stay where you are. You
He
signed an
changed
agent to
agents.
keep
Changed
signing.
agents.
Yeah,
Yeah.
changed
He
agents.
changed.
And you're absolutely right.
Yeah, right.
That means somebody get ready for something.
Yeah, I mean, he was already with an agent.
Wait, Leroy.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, if you're going to stay pat,
No, why change agents?
why change agents?
Right.
But you're
Right.
changing agents because you're working on some sort of mega deal, and this guy has a little bit more power and pull to put together this huge package. That's coming.
Leroy.
That being said, if I was Jim Harbaugh, I would not leave.
Anyway, Leroy.
You can't
You
leave
would not leave.
that.
Why? Why?
Well, why would you not?
Because you winning a national championship, going to 3 playoffs, right? You're going to be consistently in the playoffs now.
Yeah,
that
but he
they
knows what's
expand.
coming. He
But
knows what's coming.
Nobody wants to deal with the transfer portal or NIL. So that's
Right, it's a different deal, but also
They all
Leroy,
like,
I
I'ma
mean, you have
just
to admit
head on
that
up
he
there.
knows what's coming from the NCAA.
You think he's going to get suspended more?
I think they're going to get slammed.
Okay, then I would go ahead on and pull the Pete Carroll.
Yeah, I mean,
y'all know what the Pete Carroll is.
yeah,
Yep.
you know what that is?
Reggie
A lot of people know
loves
what
it.
this is. He walks into the room, he rips the nastiest piece of you know what, and walks out, and everybody's going, what in the hell is that smell? And that the smell is Pete Carroll just left the room, and in Michigan it's about to be Jim Harbaugh just left the room. He threw a grenade
here's
in the
the
room,
thing.
and then he left.
Here's the thing. They took away Reggie Bush's Heisman. They penalized you at USC. And Pete Carroll went and made $6-7 million in Seattle.
And the kids are the ones that are left to pick up the pieces.
Leroy, let me ask you a Browns-related question. Dalvin
Sure.
Cook is a free agent. Are you in or out?
Out.
Oh, really?
Why?
Well, G. Bush disagrees with you.
here's what.
Just to tell me, I disagree. Just,
Here's
Trying to start shit.
here's what you have.
Whatever
to do.
you say, G. Bush is out.
Yeah.
We're making assumptions about how much Dalvin Cook can help. I'm gonna tell you the only difference between Dalvin Cook and Ford. Dalvin Cook is a veteran and is more patient running the football, right? And that's the things that I talk about that Jerome Ford needs to get to, to become more complete.
Right.
That being said, okay, you talking about Dalvin Cook coming in week 18. How much is he going to be able to help you? You see what I mean?
Yeah, I don't. But
And,
Leroy,
and that's the thing. If it was 5 weeks ago, if it was 6 weeks ago, sure. But not going into the playoffs. Here's what I don't want. I don't want the coaching staff or the organization to have no more damn decisions. Right?
Right.
I don't want them to have no more things to confuse the task at hand.
Yeah.
And everything is pretty much, you had to move around some wide receivers. They still played well, right? You got running backs you're moving in and out. That's okay, right? Your quarterback, goodness, that's something that I don't think anybody expected, but it's working out.
Yeah.
You want to add another variable?
Well, Leroy,
yeah.
what if you do this, though? It's week 18. You want to save as many hits on your running backs as you can. Later this afternoon, we're going to find out, in all likelihood, what the Browns are going to do in terms
they're
of
not
who
going to play
plays.
Ford and Hunt this week.
I don't see any reason to play them. I don't see any reason to play your stars at all.
Yeah.
But what's the harm in bringing Dalvin Cook in? And you can speak to how hard it is for a running back to assimilate into an offense. I've always been told it's relatively easy, but you would know better than I would. I mean,
Who
Who told you that?
Warwick
Who
Dunn
told you that?
Warwick Dunn told me that.
Okay, how many times did he switch?
Well, he went from the Bucks to the Falcons, but he also changed head coaches a couple times
But
too.
he's been under
But look,
Kevin
that's
before.
why I bring it up. I'm just curious to see what you have to say. But here's my thing. If you bring him in, it doesn't cost you much. You save Ford the wear and tear on his body. Give him 17 full days between collisions to get ready for the big game. And who knows? It's like a scratch-off lottery ticket. This guy could have 150 yards on 25 carries. I'm not saying he will, but I would at least like to see it.
Leroy's finished with you guys.
Leroy, if I was to do a lottery ticket right now,
His mind pushed
okay?
back. His mind is pushed all
Right.
the way back right now.
All right, now let me bring him back to reality. Leroy, this guy had 1,100 yards last year. Okay? He's playing behind one of the worst offensive lines I can remember in New York. If I gave you a lottery ticket right now, and there's a potential to win $100,000, are you going to scratch it or are you just going to throw it away?
Yeah, I'm going to scratch it.
Then scratch the damn Dalvin Cook thing.
No, hey, your analogies suck. That's terrible.
Tell me why. Tell me why. God, you know what? I hope he goes to Kansas City and tears it up.
Guess what?
I'm going to have fun next
If you give me
week.
a scratch off and I scratch it off, there's no harm, no foul. Right?
What's
But if
the
you try
harm
to
in this?
if you try to incorporate a dude in your offense,
You're not.
that's not just scratching off a ticket.
I'm not incorporating a dude. I'm basically, the move is to save my running backs a week's worth of hits going into the biggest game of the season.
Hey, you just want it to happen, so you're just trying to find ways where to make it okay.
No,
I don't listen.
in truth, I don't want him. I don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't. What I said was I'm going to play devil's advocate here, and I'm going to say,
that's
what's
not
the
what you
harm in
said.
figuring out if they're... Because guess
What's
what?
the harm?
Once upon a time, I heard the same laughter that you just gave us about bringing in Joe Flacco. Once upon a time,
did.
a member of our regular
I
panel,
did.
Jason Lloyd, told me that Kareem Hunt is on 3 wheels.
Liar.
The dude's got 10
Liar.
touchdowns. What's the harm in testing it out?
It's not what's the harm. It's the timing of it. Right?
I didn't hear
Mike-
that. I'm sorry. Mike was talking to me.
It's not the harm.
Okay.
It's the timing of it. Okay? You're in week 18.
Right.
Like I said, if this was 5 weeks ago, right? Then yeah, you could kind of work him into it and he'd be ready for this moment. But to then come in and say, okay, it's already Wednesday. So he gonna get here Thursday?
I saw Baker Mayfield do that last year with the Rams and have an all-time career game.
And where is he now?
Having a great year, getting ready to take the Buccaneers to the playoffs. He's going to take the Buccaneers to the playoffs.
Well,
I mean,
he
you ask me
better
where
win.
he is, I'll tell you where he is.
Well, we don't know he's making the playoffs yet.
They're going to beat Atlanta Sunday.
They just choked.
I'm sorry.
Oh, shoot.
I'm sorry. They play Carolina Sunday, okay?
Jay,
Hold
the
on.
way he played this past... Wait, no.
The way he played.
He was awful this past week.
Oh, shoot.
He was not awful.
They hit that button.
Did you watch the game?
Yes, some of it.
Okay, so he did throw 2 interceptions.
He was
One
awful. He put up
tipped.
all his numbers in garbage time.
Bull, look, I'm not going to argue
I'm
that.
not going to argue. It's silly to argue. Let me just get to one thing with Leroy.
But wait, Leroy asked me a question. Well, where is he now? The point is, the Rams brought him in on a Thursday. He had an all-time career great game, led the Rams to a come-from-behind win. He was in the offense one day, and he's the quarterback. And Leroy, you're telling me a running back can't do that?
And Leroy, to be fair,
that's nuts.
To be fair, teams are still signing guys. The Browns still signed an offensive line. But last thing, real quick, before you go, you mentioned Ford last week. Jerome Ford, when you were on with us last week, you talked about what you just mentioned there. His patience is not there. I actually thought he must have been listening to you last week, because I thought this past game was his best game I've seen him play, and I thought for the first time he showed vision and patience that we have not seen from him. Did you see that? Am I crazy, or did you see that improvement this week?
It looks like, listen, think of it like this. As a running back, you got one burst, right? And you have to time it up when you use it. If you use it up at the wrong time, you're just going to run in the back of people, right? And I think he was a little more patient with that. He looked, and what's crazy about it is, when you're patient with it, it looks like you're even more explosive, right?
Yes.
And everybody thinks, you might hear people say, it looks like he's got his legs with him. Looks like he's got his legs underneath. No, he's just being more patient. He's always had that. And I think as you are around other veterans, as you get tired of running to the back of the offensive lineman, as you get tired of, they're probably preaching it to him. Hey, what are you seeing? What are you seeing? Patience, patience, patience. Now use your skill. It's a lesson a lot of people have to learn.
How long did it take you to learn that, Leroy? Last question, then we got to go.
I had it right away for this reason. I had a unique situation that I played 1 yard from the quarterback in my college career.
Yeah.
And so all my decisions had to come quick. So when I backed up to 7 yards, I was already patient because I had more room to operate.
Interesting.
And so it was always a blessing in disguise that, I'm playing a yard behind a quarterback and running these plays inside, but I still had the vision to be able to make quick moves from a yard out. So when I backed up, I was like, wow, this is great.
Yeah, you're right. It was a blessing in disguise. All right, Leroy, thanks for the heated conversation. We love it. Before we let you go, I only got 30 seconds. You lost the fantasy. You finished dead last, 12th. There is a punishment that goes along with that. Here's what the crew has decided. Last year, the punishment was Mikey McNuggets finished last. He had to go to a local comedy club and do a comedy set. And by the way, he killed it.
Yeah, he did.
Now, we're going to give you the opportunity to choose here. And G. Bush came up with these choices. You can either A, do the comedy set at the comedy club, which, by the way, would sell out. We'd raise a lot of money for charity. And I think you'd actually kill it on a comedy mic. Or number 2, this is G. Bush's idea, you can come to town and take the whole crew out to dinner. It's your choice.
This man got great. I ain't never gonna throw no shade. Leroy got impeccable taste when it comes to
He knows where to eat in Cleveland.
Leroy took you and I out for dinner and a few other people last year.
Hey, I might do the comedy thing.
Yeah. Leroy, here's the thing.
Leroy, I'll text you about this offline. We can talk.
Leroy, if you agree to do that, I'll agree to do this. We can go to Johnny's. That's your place, right?
Yeah.
That's his place.
We'll go to Johnny's, and I'll split the group tab with you at Johnny's. How's that?
Okay.
Done.
And here's
Like it.
the thing.
I like that.
Time is
I only have
Right.
one rule. I only have one rule.
One rule. Hold on. One
One
rule.
rule.
G. Bush don't eat his food like a child.
That's right. He was cutting his whole
You
steak.
cut the whole steak up, right?
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Leroy, we love you, man. Happy New Year.
I'll text
Congratulations to your
Happy New Year,
Wolverines.
guys. All righty.
See you,
I can't
Leroy.
say good luck, but I will say congratulations on what they've done.
Thank you.
See you, brother.
Hey, man, he ain't never gonna let that
That's
go.
true. That was strange.
I think
He's
that
never gonna let that
I
go.
think that Leroy could kill it on a
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
he'd be hilarious.
Leroy would be very good. I will text Leroy as soon as we get off.
Let's
the
make
air.
this happen.
And
Oh,
let's
it's
let's
gonna
make
Now,
it
I think
happen.
you talk about selling out a comedy club. If
we
we
would
if
sell
we
it out.
advertised that Leroy Hoard was coming to headline a comedy act,
Right.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna make sure I call off for everything.
Yeah, you would have to be
gotta
there.
be there.
Yeah,
for
but
this.
You were
It
there
would be-
last year.
It would be
Yeah, I was there.
awesome. We still got a jam-packed second hour to the show. And before we get to our next topic, the highly questionable and debatable QB1 battle between two titans of the industry, we got a quick word from FanDuel. The NFL season is wrapping up, but there's time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, including live same-game parlays. You can find bets in the new Explore tab. You can make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, which is the best and easiest way to find popular parlays, and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL.
By the
Joe
way, do
Flacco
you know the
is-
Browns spread for this week? It's almost impossible to predict.
Yeah, you know what? I wondered about that. I haven't looked, but I wondered how the hell are they going to set the spread because we don't even know who's playing.
Yeah. Well, I think the assumption is that the Browns are not playing their
What about
guys.
Cincinnati? They've got decisions to
Well,
make
based
too.
on the point spread, the assumption is the Bengals are going to play their guys because the Bengals are a 6-point favorite.
They was plus.
They know
5.
something.
They was
Yeah.
plus 5 on Monday.
Well, that's interesting because
we
Joe
was-
Flacco's at the podium right now speaking to the media. And
Okay.
Jeff Driskel is scheduled to speak to the media tomorrow. Kevin Stefanski will speak later today, so we might get some clarity. But for the sake of discussion here, guys, let's
Yeah.
say Joe Flacco does not play. And the Browns have
He
to
better
choose between starting P.J. Walker or Jeff Driskel as QB1 against the Bengals. Who would you guys start in this battle of two QB1 titans?
Well, I mean, it's
Driskel or Phillip?
an easy one. I mean, I would start Jeff Driskel because, for the simple fact that it's a bunch of reasons why. Actually, one, if he wins the game, Kevin Stefanski starts 5 quarterbacks. It's a great thing.
The first coach ever to win with 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah, so that's the first thing.
Yeah.
2, we already know Phillip is a winner, so we don't need to see Phil in this game. We need to see Jeff Driskel and see what he got. We know what we're going to get with Phil. We're going to win the game, obviously, but I want to see what they got in Jeff Driskel, so I think Jeff Driskel should start this game.
Mikey put up his own tweet.
I'm the only one that's listen. I couldn't find. I looked everywhere. I looked as the deepest depths of the internet trenches as I could find. I can't find any instance where they.
I mean,
have won
I
5,
can't
so.
think that it's happened either. It almost seems like we would remember that.
I mean, how many teams have even started 5 quarterbaks, let
There's
alone?
been a couple that have won games with 4. I couldn't
Yeah.
find any that ever had 5. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
I'm
the
putting my
Browns
name out
did
there.
it
I'm
with
putting my
4.
name out there.
I don't think that's the reason. I think that's a stupid. I mean, I get it. But that's
cool.
silly. I don't think Kevin Stefanski cares about that. Listen, neither of these guys is any good. The only reason I'd start Driskel is because.
Whoa. Don't say
What?
that. No, neither is good.
Oh, stop.
We
stop.
know, we
Just
know
stop.
one is a winner.
Stop. I don't care about his record. The record is that's not an indication of how well he played. I'd start Driskel because if, God forbid, something happens to Joe Flacco in the
I see what
playoffs,
you're doing here.
I got to decide which guy I can play.
Yeah.
Now, the bottom line is the Browns can't win. If Joe Flacco missed an entire game, it's over. Even the Browns can't survive that. These two guys can't win a playoff game against a good team.
Yes.
But if I need one of those guys for a series or 2 plays,
Yeah, and
let's
you might-
find out which guy I'd rather use.
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I want to see what Driskel can do. I would start Walker just because I think it'd be a slap in the face to the guy who helped you immensely at some point this year
Yeah.
to tell him you're not getting the start. We're going to bring a guy in off the street and let him start in front of you.
They did,
I would
they did that with Joe Flacco.
Well, Joe Flacco's got a Super Bowl ring and an MVP.
Yeah, that is a difference.
It's a little different.
He's
But
already,
Jay,
I'm not going to afford.
Jay, he's already taken the slap.
But the fact, but hold on a second. I agree, it's different.
Let
You're
Walker
right.
play for a half. Then let
the
let
fact
Jeff
that
play for the second
Driskel,
half.
Mike just said Driskel's talking tomorrow. That means to me he's playing.
Yeah.
I would expect him to play. I wouldn't expect him to start.
I'm
though.
expecting him to start. Otherwise, why would he be talking to the media?
He's starting.
Usually,
If he
it's the
went-
starting quarterback. that talks.
Why would you not start? You could start 5. You could be the first team to start 5 quarterbacks and win.
And what do you get for that?
Coach of the year.
You know,
I don't think that's going to put him over the top. I think he's won it already.
I know it is.
You got me on that one. Because that damn well might be true.
do you guys remember at the end of
You're
the
right, Titus. I mean, you nailed me on that. That's a good one.
At the end of the school year, they give out awards, right? You get honor roll, you get merit roll,
Achievement role.
you get perfect attendance.
Oh, I got that. I got that all the time. That was the only one I was going to get.
And then they give the citizenship award. There's really a vague, there's really no title for it. It's just one of those things where it's like, listen, we done gave out all these awards. He came, he passed a little bit, but he's not smart, and his parents want to clap for him. Citizenship award. Now, when you get that, that's Philip Walker. Phil, hey, citizenship, dog. You came through. You did your thing in a Randy Jackson voice. Yeah, you did your thing. I thought you was a little choppy at the beginning, but you
Little pitchy.
yeah, right. So now, look, Driskel come in. Everybody has been elevated over P.J. Walker.
Whoa.
Even DTR.
Wait a minute.
DTR will look crazy. They said, listen, as soon as DTR get right, Phil, you're out of here.
Listen. No.
They kicked him to the
That's
curb.
not how
He
it
got cut.
works.
Yeah.
You let Jeff Driskel go out there. You start him off, and when it doesn't work out or if things is close and he's not playing up to your liking, you say, Phil, go out there and win the game, baby.
so this is
we
where
know what you're going to do. Put
PJ
that,
is
put
now
that
the
winner
closer.
out there. Yeah.
Let's go to the close.
That's right. Bring in the closer in the second half. We know what Phil going to do.
You know, Mike, I don't know if you asked it on the show, but I love the way you framed it in the notes last night.
You want to read it?
Yeah, you read it, because it was your idea.
So I sent the rundown, and I actually said, quote, actually, Anthony, you want to read it from the rundowns, just so people know I'm not finagling words here? Read the second part of the Jeff Driskel question.
It's funny word.
All right,
Mike-
Anthony, come
Mike,
on.
you made
you're
this
up.
very complicated.
Here it is. Here it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Has anyone ever had to ask a question of who should start between 2 worse options at quarterback than the Browns this week if Joe Flacco
Yes.
cannot?
Yes, they're actually, and I can't remember who the second quarterback is, but the year that Deshaun Kaiser was named the starting quarterback for the Browns,
Cody Kessler. And
it was that's it. Cody Kessler, good job out of you.
I was there.
I think that's even worse.
That was with the Browns that
That's
year.
even worse than
That's
this.
why I know that.
Is it worse than this?
I
though?
think it is.
Cody
I mean,
Kessler.
it's yeah.
It could be worse.
I mean, I don't know that it could be worse. I mean, it's equal.
It is. It's
but
equally sucky. That's your. But you know,
I
what?
think
it's a game that doesn't matter.
You know why that one was worse? Because that one was to be the starter for games that mattered.
Yeah, you're right.
This is to be the starter for
That's
games
valid.
that doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true.
I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't watch Austin Davis. I didn't see Connor Shaw.
Chucky Fry.
Oh my gosh! But here's the thing, you know, I'm starting to believe. I don't, you know, we'll talk about later on a little foreshadowing. Who is the person that you really changed your mind and you know?
Go in there
since
next.
it
Chief.
happened?
Go in there next.
That's our next
Yeah.
topic.
Wait a minute. Wait, before we move on, I got a question because you brought up the quarterback thing. So you know how the list is the Tim Couch jersey, and then it's
Bless
like
you, bro.
Yeah, bless you. It's the Tim Couch jersey,
died.
and then it's a bunch of quarterback
Right,
names.
sure, of course.
So, and they got like scratch-offs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is Watson's name like scratched off, and then under it is like Phil Walker,
Yeah.
for
now,
DTR,
yeah.
Joe
Oh,
Flacco.
yeah.
So right now, Joe Flacco is the name.
Well, Driskel could be the active name.
No.
Can you imagine that?
No. Flacco is scratched off.
Yeah.
And then it's Driskel, and then it goes
No,
back.
you don't scratch him
No,
off.
you can't. No.
Oh,
Yeah, they do scratch
But
him
Flacco's
off.
still the starter. He's not.
People really don't be coming out of games like that. Like these other quarterbacks be playing like every single game. You know, Favre played for like every game.
Yeah.
Well,
Every game.
this is the first time in at least 30 years that the Browns are playing a game where they're in the playoffs, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I just want to know how it worked on the jersey after Watson.
Yeah,
Like,
we need to find that out.
Is that is
Or-
Watson's name like scratched because he's going to be the quarterback next year?
Or are Watson, DTR, Phillip, and maybe now Flacco all on but not crossed out?
So that means they're Voltron.
I think if they're still on the roster, they don't get the cross
Right,
out.
that's what I'm
they
saying.
only get the cross out when they've been. Now, P.J. Walker was crossed out. We had to erase the cross because he's back in.
That's correct.
Before we go on to this next topic, which I'm looking forward to, I want to give you guys one more mind blow. Because apparently my hypothetical left Leroy needing a standing 8 count. That God forbid, Dalvin Cook could have a good game.
Well,
So here's another one. Let me blow your mind with this one.
Yeah.
This is a great what if. What if Jeff Driskel comes in here, guys, and goes 30 for 32,
Yeah.
410 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Now, that was even more absurd than Dalvin Cook.
Playing without Amari Cooper starting
wait a
offensive
minute,
line.
Backup wide
No
receiver.
David
And
Njoku.
David Bell goes for
Let me-
11 catches, 140 yards.
There you go.
Let me tell you what I think about
What do
that.
we do?
This is what we do.
Nothing.
No, I'm going.
That's never going to happen.
It's not, but
If that happens,
once upon a time,
he
not long
becomes
ago in
quarterback
San
too.
Francisco, the possibility was, what if Mr. Irrelevant can be an MVP candidate next year?
I don't care what.
It's highly unlikely.
I don't care how good a game Driscoll does. I'm starting Joe Flacco.
Flacco, get back in there.
Stefanski has Driskel throwing for 300 yards.
Oh, Stefanski's going to the Hall of Fame.
We got to rethink.
Listen,
some
it's
things.
the last.
we got to rethink about number 4. If this kid comes in and throws 300 yards,
you're right.
We got to. Deshaun, listen, bro. You got to just throw your pride to the side. Whatever can
And follow
Run
do
this
it.
offense.
Just do it.
Run this offense.
It's the last game of the season, and the game doesn't matter to either team, so anything can happen. I mean, it's going to be a wacky game.
Leave it to the Browns to go almost 30 years without good quarterback play, then have 3 quarterbacks come in. Deshaun, Jeff Driskel, and
What
Joe
do we
Flacco
do with
just
this glut of
rewrite the record
quarterbacks?
books. It'd be phenomenal. All right, we're going to move on to our next topic tonight, though. 5:30, next edition of Behind the Glass. Earl the Pearl, Anthony, myself. Talk a little Browns, talk a little behind the scenes. Anthony's going to change the graphics, so it doesn't always say Wednesday at 7 p.m. because it's not always at Wednesday at 7 p.m. because tonight it's at 5:30. So tonight, 5:30, Behind the Glass, we will get to it. We also asked the chat, who would they start, Driskel or Walker? 80% went with Jeff Driskel. All right, next topic, guys. And I'm glad you guys all had a different answer. We have 4 different answers for this, and this was not intentional. You guys all came with different answers, which is phenomenal.
Wait a second, Mike. Let's be honest.
Yes?
When Mike asked me the question, I had 2 answers.
I had 3.
I said 2, and I said, let me know if anybody else has one of my answers,
Oh,
and I'll
that's
go with the
exactly
other.
Rank them then, like this is my first
That's
choice.
exactly what I did.
And you took one of my 2, so I said, okay, I'll do the other one because I thought they were equal.
So,
Okay.
we have 4 different ones. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess
So
there
we
was
ended
a
up
tiny
with 4
bit of
different
crossover.
Nice of you, Bill,
I
to
said
do that.
3 answers in. I said, boom. If that's taken, boom. If that's taken,
right.
boom.
But Tyvis was the first to answer, so he got his first choice. The question is, which member of the Browns organization, player, coach, executive, owner, it could be anything,
Yeah.
has changed your opinion of them the most this season? Could be in a good way, could be in a bad way, but who from the start of the season to now has had the biggest transformation and change of opinion? And Bull, you want to start?
I don't want to start.
Why don't we let Tyvis start? Because he was
Tyvis,
the
yeah.
first one to answer the
Yeah.
question.
Tyvis, you're up.
Well, I thought it was 2 obvious choices, but I went with one. I went with Andrew Berry. I thought Andrew Berry completely changed my opinion of him. Before this season, I thought he was a guy that didn't draft well. He didn't get the right talent in there, and he ignored glaring issues on the team. And this season, his draft picks, even his undrafted picks, they're doing pretty well for themselves. He's actually got meaningful people in there that some people might have thought, who is that? Maybe he's not the biggest name guy, but he's come in and he's contributed and helped some of the issues that we had. Still need to work on that wide receiver spot, but we ain't gonna talk about that. And then lastly, what was the other thing?
Trades.
Trades.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made some trades this offseason, and they've come in and they've worked and they've done well. Zadarius Smith, getting Shelby Harris off on the active roster, Mo Hurst, even a guy like Jed Wills, or signing a guy like David Njoku, where everybody's like, why are you doing that? They've actually. Even Jed Wills, before he got hurt, before Jed Wills he was playing decent football. There, he was playing decent football. There, can I say that?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, and he
was playing better football.
Decent football.
Better.
Decent football.
Okay.
He wasn't noticeable.
Serviceable.
How about this?
How about
serviceable?
How about this?
All right.
When he went down, we actually was worried a little bit.
That's
We
true.
can't.
all right. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's
So in
fair.
other words, if you suck so bad at the beginning and then you're mid, you look pretty damn good.
That's right.
That's right.
See what you did to set the bar low.
I'm guessing G's answer was Stefanski. No?
That's the only answer all of us should have had. Like, I mean, you come.
No. And AB is a great answer.
Some of us, yeah.
I mean, but you come from. I told you had 6 games, right? And not only did you get them 6 games and you kept going, you was winning games against who people would say is the best team in the league right now, 49ers and Eagles, with Phil Walker. With a guy that we've changed his nickname. We've stripped him of all titles and land. I mean, when you get to a point, and just throw this out there too, Kevin Stefanski single-handedly took the Cleveland Browns from being a team everybody in the national media hated. Everybody. Half of the local media didn't like the roster, didn't like him because of what Deshaun Watson was and the distractions and all of the perceived dumpster fires. He took a team with no quarterback, a dude off the street, a rookie, Deshaun Watson, and he ran 35 different playbooks. He lost his best player. They got running back by committee, and he went from one of the worst stories to the best story. Not only is it the best story, but they're playing in the best division in football, and they've already clinched. It's no way. Like when you talk about it, there's half of our population that was like, Stefanski got to go. He did so well. I had to say, listen, I'm gonna accept you for who you are, just like a partner. Sometimes you have some shortcomings. I can't be talking about your plays from play to play, down to down. That's not what
you can be critical of any coach if you do that.
Yeah,
you have to be macro in that.
But you gotta keep it 100. And where credit is due is he did it, and he did it at a high level when I don't think other people could.
No, I think that's a really good one. I wish I would have thought of that. Quickly, before I give mine or Bull gets his, Mary Kay just tweeted this out a half hour ago. This is the quote of the year. Joe Flacco. If I messed up in high school, I could be these guys' dads.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
He's factually correct.
That's right.
That is a rap lyric. Like, if I messed up in high school, I could be. All you gotta do is throw flow on it.
I mean, it's great.
Yo, that's a crazy line.
I'm so old that if I messed up in high school,
I could be these guys' dads.
I could be your dad.
You're supposed to wait for the crowd like Nick Cannon. If you so old,
Don DeMarco.
In the meantime, Bull, who do you have as the guy that is most changed your opinion, good or bad?
I will say real quick though, Kevin Stefanski's won 37 games in 4 years, right? 37 games in 4 years in the regular season. In the 12 years before he was here, the Browns won 51 games.
Jesus.
So 51 in 12 years, he's won 37 in 4.
Is he the all-time leading coach in wins?
With Marty.
He's close.
Well, since 99, yeah.
That was the Ravens. This is the Browns. So he's the all-time winningest coach in Browns history.
Well, no, because the Browns kept their history.
The Browns kept their history.
So they cut. I thought it started in 99.
No, the Browns kept the colors, the name, and the history. So
all the Ravens records, only started in 99.
The Ravens, the Ravens are in 99. No, 96. 96, whatever.
So both of your choices are great, Andrew. I wouldn't take your choice because I already like Kevin Stefanski, so he didn't change my mind.
That's why I didn't pick him.
Yeah, Andrew Berry was a great choice. He was my 1A, 1B with this guy, but to me, it's a no-brainer. It's Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Oh, that's a good
one. Who
great
nobody
answer.
can pronounce.
No, that's a really good one.
I mean, we had DeQuell Jackson, who is the best Browns linebacker in the last 35, 40 years. One of their best linebackers in the history of the franchise. Guy knows football inside and out. He's a regular guest on our show. Say this guy should be cut. DeQuell was not, and I don't say that to knock DeQuell at all. I love DeQuell, and I'm so happy for him. He was not, when he came on our show, he wasn't like Leroy or me, who's like emotional and like, cut this guy, get rid of it.
By the way, he was almost never critical.
Never. Certainly not to that degree. And JOK as a rookie, he was fine. He was a decent player. Last year, he was hideous. It was so bad. We all were like, this guy can't play. And now, you could argue he's the third best player in the defense.
Bull, you could argue that he's having a better year than Myles Garrett. You can argue.
I won't go that far.
But
he's not in the DPOY conversation.
But that's because he had a long way to go.
Yeah.
If you look at his numbers, 20 tackles for a loss.
He's a Pro
for a
Bowler.
linebacker. It's ridiculous.
I think you went from a guy who last year was unstartable.
Right.
Yeah.
To a guy who is, again, I'm not an authority on the linebackers on other teams. I just know the Browns and the Bengals well, as better than most teams. But this guy has been phenomenal, and he's gotten better as the season's gone along. There's a lot of players who are good in September, and then as the year goes on and teams adjust and you get banged up, they go in the opposite direction. This guy is the opposite. He was good in the beginning of the year, and he's been sensational in the second half of the year. And I thought he was nothing.
I think that 3 great choices. I think what this exercise is going to show, because I'm going to have a different name.
Yeah.
What this exercise is going to show is that Mikey asked the question, changed our minds either good or bad.
That's true. And
we're all going on the positive.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it.
To your point about JOK,
yeah.
I think he does deserve the credit. He did the work. But Jim Schwartz had the key to unlocking his potential.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
And I think that, and obviously Jim Schwartz wasn't here last year, so he can't be part of this exercise. But in JOK is a perfect example of a player being trapped in the wrong system.
Yep. That is correct.
Joe Woods had this guy's head spinning.
Yep.
Like he put a bag over his head and told him to go play football. Jim Schwartz came and said, no, free yourself. Don't think, react.
Yeah.
You've got athletic instincts, good instincts, just go out there and play. What'd I say? You didn't say pause.
I think I know what it is.
Listen, I'm in timeout. I mean, I don't want to know. I didn't have way too many for today. I just had got to let that ride.
Yeah.
Well, free yourself.
And the rest will follow.
Just go play football.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. Here's mine.
No, wait a minute. Before you go, the biggest difference was because he got out of that hideous 28. I'm telling you.
That was a nasty
Yeah.
number.
The hideous
maybe.
28.
That nasty
Maybe.
number.
You get one of them single digits, you got to be the man.
It does bring a different swag to the game.
He is now a cornerstone player on this roster.
I would agree with that.
Right?
He would be a guy now that I would be.
He will be getting an extension.
Yeah.
He should.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys think he's a Pro Bowler? I do.
Yeah,
He is, yeah.
100%.
He might.
And I think he's an all-pro.
I'm about to
case.
say
I
he
was going
might
through the
make
numbers.
second team all pro.
Yeah, he has
Wow.
a case, and
Where-
it depends on what you look at. There's some
That
other linebackers.
TFL thing.
Where is he in
impressive,
PFF? Is he high up on PFF or no?
He's relatively high, but in terms of the tackles for loss and run stops, he's been as good defensively against
Boy,
run as almost
I
any
mean, all
linebacker
pro.
in football.
Who would have thought?
He could make
Here's my
second
guy,
team.
and after hearing your answers, all of them are better than mine. So let me frame it that way. I thought mine was pretty good because this player really has changed my mind on who he is and what he can do. And he might also be like JOK. He might also have been free to go do his thing by perhaps either a different system or maybe a different quarterback. But for me, David Njoku has become that dude. I thought he was that guy coming out of Miami. I thought he was going to be that guy in year 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, and it never happened. And when they gave him the big contract, I was very, very critical of that. I said, how can you pay this guy like a top 3 tight end? His name doesn't belong in the same paragraph as the top 3 tight ends in the NFL.
Sheesh.
I can't say that anymore. I think David Njoku has become one of the game's best tight ends. I haven't looked at this, so I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, and Mike will tell me. What are his numbers, and then tell me what are Travis Kelce's numbers?
Give me 1 second.
It's not as good as Kelsey, but
No, I don't think it is, but I think
it's not
people
far
are going to be
off.
surprised how close they are.
I will tell you this. Obviously, age is a factor here, but I said it. So I kind of alluded to this about a month ago, and now even more so. I would not trade David Njoku for Travis Kelce right now.
I went back just.
Obviously, age a
Yeah,
big
age is
factor.
a factor.
Njoku's like 5-6 years younger.
Surprisingly,
numbers,
it
Jay. You
appears
ready?
like Njoku is going up and
Big time.
Travis Kelce is going
Big
down.
time.
What are the numbers?
I got the numbers. So receptions, Njoku has 81 catches this season. Kelsey has 93.
Okay.
Yards, Kelsey has 984. Njoku has 882. Touchdowns, David has 6. Kelsey has 5. They're averaging about the same yards per catch, 10.6 for Travis, 10.9 for David.
And Njoku's got
David
way
needs to
more
be-
yards after the catch.
After
that's
college.
the
I went
advanced,
back and looked at this show the day David Njoku signed his contract. And I was like, oh, we can't let this get out. That was brutal. I mean,
we killed him. I did.
Listen, I was like, destroy the tape, McNugget.
I wasn't there.
But
Burn the tape.
But to go from that to where they is today,
That's why he's my answer.
it's crazy.
Because we were trashing him.
I mean, if
I
you
wasn't on that show because I wouldn't have said that.
if you factor in age,
I said potential. It's all,
if
they
you
did it
factor
for
in
potential.
age, how many guys would you trade him for? You trade him probably for Sam Laporta of the Lions
'Cause he's
a
a rookie.
and he's already
Yeah.
excellent.
Other than that,
but
Bo, I
not
don't
many
know.
guys.
I don't
mean,
know.
He might.
I mean-
him and George Kittle might be the two best blocking.
Yeah.
Mark
tight ends.
Andrews
He's an
is
elite
pretty
blocker.
good, isn't he?
And I think Njoku's going to be a Pro Bowler as well.
oh, he's 100%
By the way,
Pro Bowl.
the initial Pro Bowl teams get released tonight.
Oh,
we will
really?
react to that tomorrow. That's also
Yeah.
overtime today. We're going to predict. Who
By the way,
I didn't know that. That's a great idea.
Jay, I think your answer is a good one. The only reason I would put JOK ahead of Njoku in this is that Njoku, in my mind, went from okay
Yeah, you're right.
to excellent, whereas JOK went from the trash to
You're
excellent.
right. Yeah, his bar was already higher.
Right.
But again, the way I look at him now, he was
Completely
disposable
different.
for me.
Yeah.
Coming into this season,
He was just a guy.
He is absolutely untouchable
No,
to me
no,
now.
no. He is
So,
a legitimate
what did-
second target in the passing game.
If we had to pick a negative, again, I pointed out that we could have gone either way with this. Last year, if we'd have done this, we would have all picked guys whose opinion
Jay,
fell.
before you ask that, can I add one more name to this
Yeah, who
conversation?
do you have?
Well, I would have went with someone out there, but Jordan Elliott's another guy who
Oh,
went
yeah.
from being
Oh,
an absolute
you're right.
nobody to a guy
No,
who's
bull.
a
I mean,
legitimate
G
contributor
trash, too.
on this defensive
Yeah.
line.
No, you're right. I mean, it's really remarkable what this team has done. Is a remarkable turnaround.
And we throwing names out there. Philip Walker, man. I mean, just the
Stop
things.
it.
Oh, you talk
Do
about
we
a
have
guy.
anybody that we would say our opinion of him today is less than what it was a year ago?
I will say this.
Yeah, there is.
Jack Conklin.
Well,
You
that
said
was
somebody that
injury.
went here to down
Yeah,
here.
This
okay.
is a tricky one and opens a can of worms, but I would say Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I would too.
If
It's the only guy I could think of.
Yeah.
We asked the chat real quick to vote. I put the 4 options you guys came up with to see how they went. And first off, kudos to you guys for coming up with great answers. Berry, 10%. JOK and Njoku tied at second, 28%, and Stefanski at 32%.
Wow.
Which is about as close as we've ever had in a 4-option poll
You
before.
guys
Yeah.
were close, but Stefanski is the right answer.
But
I mean, I
Stefanski-
didn't want to take that answer because
Yeah,
I knew
you
y'all
No,
would.
and I like
You know
Bull
it.
too.
You know it. It was
I thought
I-
that there was something there with Stefanski.
Yeah.
But where you were on Stefanski
Yeah, I
was,
was-
you literally
And
had
it-
him.
and it's
the pick
opinionated,
slip
too.
was written out.
I literally had
You were
to
just
defend
waiting
the
to
man
deliver
all
it.
last
Listen,
year, so
I didn't like none of it. I was like, look, but his dudes play hard for him, man. Like, it don't matter at this point who they throwing out there. They've
Yeah.
been playing hard.
They love him.
And he manages adversity as well as anyone. Look what he did in COVID.
that's what I said.
And-
4 starting
I said
quarterback.
that
And
last.
he's got better. He's got better at time management. He's got better at end of half strategy.
Well, G,
I think they've gotten a lot better in a lot of areas.
The common mistake that everybody as a fan made is they forgot the fact that 2020, that was his first year as a head coach.
Yeah.
It's like, and AB, same thing as a GM. Like, this is their first time doing it. So as anything, you get better as you continue to do it.
Yes.
We just didn't want to deal with the growing pains that come with it. Like, it's just like starting something new. You got to figure out how you want to do it.
Well, we've gone through
what
the
I can
growing
say,
pains.
What I can say is they've learned their lesson. That's the best thing I can say.
Yeah.
They went through things in seasons and they've not made the same mistakes twice.
I'll give him that.
And you know what? I'll give kudos to Haslam and
What?
the ownership
Hold on.
group. I know.
What?
Oh my
No,
gosh!
listen, when they deserve the praise.
Jason Crawford.
That's right.
Put the camera on him, Steve.
Yeah.
Why you
Roll
say
the
this?
tape. I'm going to say this. Listen, I try to be fair. If I think criticism is warranted, I'm going to dish it. If I think praise is warranted, I'm going to dish it. I think this year I've seen and heard less from Haslam than I have in any other year. He hasn't popped up anywhere.
Stay out of the way.
Right.
Get the
Pay the
hell out of
checks,
the way. And
stay out of the way.
Let the football people.
And he's done that
do
as
the
far as we
football
know this
people.
year,
What
yeah.
about Paul
And the
DePodesta?
owner has got one job. You know what that is?
That's it.
So,
Write checks.
So what about?
That's it.
So Paul DePodesta, can he get some praise?
No, I'm not going that far.
By the way,
that far.
a couple other guys.
I got to know what he does before I can praise him.
I got a couple other guys you could throw in the mix because I was trying to think of negative, and even Watson. I don't know that I think any less of him than I did a year
We'll
ago.
save it. We'll do the other side as a topic of the
Okay,
day.
but real quick, a couple of guys on the positive, Mike, that we didn't mention.
Okay.
Greg Newsome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
I think better of him.
yeah.
Alex Wright. I thought he was a nothing. He's played well down the stretch.
Yep.
I think the bottom line of this exercise, I'm glad we did it,
Yeah.
was there are bright spots all throughout this roster and all throughout this organization. And let's just take a second to breathe that in and to smell that and
Dustin
enjoy it.
Hopkins too. None of us thought he was good.
Dustin Hopkins. We forgot about him.
We didn't even know. We didn't even have an opinion of the guy.
This is our collective
Well, he wasn't
apology.
here last year, so
our
we
collective
couldn't
apology
use it.
for the Cleveland Browns starting 2024. We are sorry and keep winning games.
Keep doing it.
And don't draft wide receivers in the third round.
All right, we're going to move on to true and false. If you are watching the show right now, do us a favor. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you have not already. It's
Hold
a
on, wait a
phenomenal,
minute.
easy,
Before
and
you ask
free
the
way
question, let me start
to
it off
start.
right.
Am I still the defending champ, or did you guys play last week when I was out?
We did not play last week.
So I'm
but
still the defending
we're starting
champion.
2024 off fresh. Anthony will
slate.
keep track of the score, and he has an official spreadsheet to track the winner.
You're
Earl,
answering
you want to
the
tell the
question
people what to
before
do
it's
real quick
asked?
That's right.
before we start?
No losses.
Hey, yeah, real quick, man, because we ain't forgetting to do this in 2024. G, bad job out of you. 5-second pause, man. Hit that like button.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
As we lower our heads and pray.
Yeah. 5 seconds for you to hit the like button at home. Thank you.
Yes.
And with that, let's play a little true or false. The first of 2024. All today's questions are related to players on the Browns and the Bengals, previewing this week's matchup. Steve, are you ready?
Oh, Browns and the Bengals.
It's a little mix-up here. True or false? Joe Mixon has more 20-yard carries this season than Jerome Ford. Is that true? Is that false?
I feel like that's false, and I'm mad that I wrote true, but I'm going to ride it out because I can't, you know what I'm saying?
I'm locked in this year.
Bull's going to get this one right.
I'm locked in.
3 falses and a true. Tyvis, do you want to change your answer?
Nah, that's no,
You know what?
It's already down.
He wrote it down before he ever heard the
nope,
question.
Nope.
So he's riding or dying with true.
Tyvis, you are dead on arrival. It is false. Joe Mixon has the fewest amount of 20-yard carries in football for any running back with 200 carries. He has 2 rushes of 20 yards. The
I
fewest
knew
of
it
any
was
running
false.
back with
Yep.
200 or more carries.
Well,
this season.
if you guys were paying attention yesterday when Ben Baby was on, the thing that he talked about with Joe
Yeah.
I was
Mixon
so
is
Yeah,
mad when
that's
you
why I
said that.
he
By the way,
doesn't
you
have the
can-
home run
soon as
potential.
You can
The
tell
question
we've
came
used
on.
these a lot because now you can't completely erase the word.
Yeah, you're right. You can
As
see
soon
it
as
back
I
there.
saw the question, I said, God, it's false.
That'll teach you an answer, a lesson, young man. Don't write the answer before you hear the
Well,
question.
that means that this one is 100%.
Oh, well,
Roll it.
Ride or die.
Roll it.
Not in the spirit of the game right now.
No.
Tyvis, I don't
That's
appreciate
okay.
it.
It's his record, not ours.
Roll it.
Next up, are you guys ready? Question number 2. The Browns and Bengals have played exactly 100 times in their franchise's history.
I have no
Does that
idea.
include postseason?
That includes in postseason. It's 100 times.
I don't think they've ever played in the postseason.
No, they haven't.
I mean, how many times have the Browns and Bengals been good in the same year? The 80s, really. That was
I
it.
think the answer to this one is in the question.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go with this. Like,
We have a false, a true, a false, and 3 falses and a true.
Just like last question.
Except this time, Tyvis is right.
It is exactly 100.
The reason I said
Bengals-
that the answer's in the question is, I would think that they maybe in the COVID year they only played once with the
No,
COVID season or
no, they
strike
did.
season.
We forgot about. I was thinking it had to be more than that because the Bengals have been around for more than 50 years, but the Browns weren't around for the 3 years.
Yeah, and I thought it would be an even answer because they play twice
Oh,
a year.
yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought that this maybe would be the 100th game, but I guess not.
Wait a minute.
According to the football database, the Bengals have a 52-48 edge in the 100 matchups between these two.
Oh, we got to play our starters.
We
got to close that gap.
redemption.
What Cam Newton say after he scored that touchdown in Carolina and took his helmet off?
I'm back.
Come on now.
All right, so
All right,
it's
next
1-1.
up, Joe Flacco and Jake Browning rank 1 and 2 respectively in the NFL for most passing yards in the month of December. So in the month of December, Joe Flacco and Jake Browning ranked 1 and 2 respectively.
Are you willing to say it's all true or all false or no?
It's either all true or all false.
Okay.
Yeah. That gave it away.
I feel like it did.
True.
Because I know Flacco's number one.
I know Flacco number one, but I don't know about Jake.
I know
No,
Browning.
it's either all true or all false.
It is true. They do rank
Listen,
1 and 2.
listen, Todd.
I shouldn't have said it. 'cause I
When you said that, I'm like, well, it's
know.
got to be true. I thought
I
Browning
didn't
was
even
like,
think
I
about
shouldn't
that.
ask you that, Mike.
Mike, that was a bad job. of me.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
I helped you guys.
You gave me the assist.
I ran across that stat when they was talking about how they just got Browning on this illegal deal. Like, apparently the Bengals have his rights for like 5 more years because he's been back and forth from practice squad. Like,
Oh, he's never played.
Well, it's
he's
not
never
that many
played
years,
6
but-
games.
but it's a lot.
He hasn't accrued any service time until this year.
you got to play.
Something?
That's
He's been on the
dirty.
roster.
You got to play
So his
6.
clock didn't start
No.
ticking until this year?
Right.
So no. What happens is you have to play 3 games gets you more money, but 6 games get you closer to free agency,
Right.
and that's an accrued season. So he hasn't played 6 total.
I don't
games.
think he had played it all before this year.
Yeah, if he hasn't
this
played
was the
6
first time.
games, that means that they can offer him a deal and he got to take it. He'll be a restricted free agent.
And he's 30.
I mean, I know he's done a pretty good job, but nobody's making him a starter. I mean, he's better off being a backup, I would think.
I think he's played very well.
I do too.
He went in the Arrowhead.
He's
He
been
played
all right.
really good.
That
man.
first game, I didn't know what I was looking at. I mean, he hit on every
He
pass
played
threw.
a few really good games.
He saved my fantasy team.
Sure did.
Next up, a guy we spoke about earlier, Jeff Driskel, was the #1 rated high school quarterback recruit in the 2010 class.
That's actually
Well, if you know it, don't say it out loud.
it's tough because I'm trying to think back then. I know it's top 5.
If it is true, it tells you about how good the rating system is.
Did you do a story on this?
False.
I did.
False. True. Jay.
He went to Florida.
This is either the lead
Out of
or
high
for
school.
not.
didn't he-
And Jay is in the lead. It's true.
Yeah.
He was the
Wasn't he?
#1
did. He
rated
went to
quarterback.
Now Jacoby Brissett was on that team too, wasn't he?
What, on the Florida team?
Yeah, and then Jacoby Brissett transferred.
Well, Driscoll
to NC
transferred
State.
too.
Yeah.
Driscoll ended his career at Louisiana Tech.
La
Right.
Tech. Shout
By
out
the
La
way,
Tech.
Jake Browning, I believe, holds the record for most touchdowns in high school, doesn't he?
I'd have to
Oh,
look
wow.
into that. I'm not sure.
I didn't-
They were giving his stats. I was the other day on the broadcast. It was like insanity. His high school football numbers.
This next one's either going to blow your mind or.
What's
I'm
the
gonna-
score? Was I
Anthony
the
score
only one that
update.
got that right?
Yeah.
Jay has 3, G and Bull have 2, and Tyvis has 1.
New
So this
year.
next one's either the best nugget I've ever found, or I'm just an evil demon for making this up. But Bengals head coach Zach Taylor was the starting quarterback for Browns offensive lineman Bill Callahan at Nebraska. in
Easy money.
2006.
Easy money.
Very-
Easiest money I've ever
Very
had.
easy money. That's stealing.
Oh, you guys all knew that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I asked these guys.
And it was
I guess it
recently.
wasn't the craziest money you've
guess-
ever found.
It was
bad
super
job out of me.
recent, too.
That was a
Terrible
missed
job
nugget.
out of me. I'm sorry, that was easy.
You asked me. Of course I didn't know it.
That's actually a really good point.
And
So wait a minute. To confirm whether or not this was a great question, you asked Anthony?
that's crazy.
I'm going to plead the fifth. Next
What-
up,
did
Jay
you ask
Driscoll.
Steve
Anthony's
also?
answer was, is Bill Callahan a character
gonna
in Star
plead
Wars
the
4?
fifth.
Jeff Driscoll's first professional touchdown pass was caught by Tyler Boyd. True or false?
He was on that squad.
He did play for Cincinnati.
He did.
I'm gonna just go with true.
Damn, again, Bull has a big advantage on this one.
And he's losing right now.
True.
I'm not
true,
100%
false?
sure.
The answer is true.
Dang, I needed some get back. I wrote true and switched it out at the end.
True that. True
Score
that.
update.
Jay has 5, G and Bull have 4, and Tyvis has 2.
All right, we have 2 more.
Tavis, I'm sorry.
2 more.
You're not undefeated in 2024.
You know what?
Tavis, this one.
They say that
You should get
the
this one.
great rise come after the fall.
That'll have to be next week. It's too late this week.
Tavis, this one's for you.
No,
Zach Taylor
every good.
and Kevin Stefanski both made the same amount of all-conference teams in their collegiate playing careers. True or false?
That's easy.
I have no idea.
One went to Nebraska. One went to Penn. It's easier to make all kinds.
Well, yeah, you got a point there.
I don't remember
Yeah,
you put it in the Big Ten. I don't
Well, it
remember
could
you.
be true because neither made an all-conference.
I was thinking of that.
We
That's
have
what
one
I was
true,
thinking.
3 falses.
That'd be,
Just
But
like
I do
the
think
one
I remember
true,
Stefanski was named to an all-conference
I
team.
think twice.
Kevin Stefanski made 1 All-Ivy League team. Zach Taylor made 1 All-Big 12 offense. He won the 2006 Offensive Player of the Year in the Big 12.
Oh my God.
under Bill Callahan. They both made one in their career, which makes
So Bull and I are tied going into the
tied
last
with
question.
Jay
Right.
going to the Steve Becker. I did not have a tiebreaker, so find me a tiebreaker while I read this last question.
running
Come
the
back and
option.
end it at the end. The last question. Are you guys ready? True or false? Jake Browning's first NFL offensive coordinator was Kevin Stefanski.
No. Liar. I don't remember this.
False for G. Bush.
We're going to have
False
an
for
answer.
Jay. True
100%
for Bull, which
false.
means we will have a winner.
It's true.
It's 100% false.
It's true.
No, it's not.
The answer, drum roll please.
It's true.
Got this.
100% true.
It's 100% false.
Steve, don't take it.
did
Jake
story
Browning
on
was
this.
signed to the Minnesota Vikings practice squad before he played for the Bengals, which means it is true. Kevin Stefanski.
Wait.
Yeah! I am the champion, my friends.
You're wrong.
Said I did a story
What
on
was
this.
his first NFL team?
The Minnesota Vikings.
I thought the 49ers drafted him.
No, he was undrafted.
I
signed
thought
by
I
the
said, I
Vikings.
swear he went to the Vikings.
Okay, never mind. I lose.
And you have one.
You were so confident
I,
there.
listen,
That's
in
what I
my,
was
in my
like.
mind, I thought he was drafted by the 49ers.
No, I knew he went to the Vikings. That's why I was like, oh, yeah, Kevin. And he's
I
like
knew
30.
he'd been on the Vikings. I wasn't sure it was his first team. You were so confident. I thought I was
Wait a minute.
wrong.
I thought Stefanski was only the offensive coordinator for 1 year.
And that was the year they signed Jake Browning, 2019.
You hate to see it.
Wait a minute.
Yes,
2019 was his first professional season?
correct. He played in Minnesota 2019, 2020, and part of 2021.
What year did he graduate college?
18. 'cause he-
2018.
No. He was high school player of the year in 2010.
Jake
No,
Browning?
that was Jeff Driskel.
That was Jeff Driskel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They lost in the college football playoff. They got
Yes, the
Both by
comeback
Alabama.
victory to take
That
the
is a
first
great
win of the
comeback.
year.
You were 2 down with 2 to play. Or 1 down with 2
One
to
down
play.
with 2 to play.
Well done.
Thank you.
We're going to talk Cavs here for a sec, guys. But before we do that, even as the NFL season wraps up, there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is simple to use, and you can bet on so many different things, including live, same-game parlays. You can find bets in the new Explorer tab. You can make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, and the best way to find popular parlays is on the FanDuel main page. So make sure you visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL, an official partner of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We don't talk a ton of Cavs during the season, but something's happened the last few days, and we have a little bit of downtime here that I need to ask you guys a question. G. Bush, we'll start with you. But when you look on social media, the Cavs have lost 2 games in a row since Donovan Mitchell has returned to the lineup. They were 3-1 without him with an illness. And you could find some people on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever you peruse on the internet, claiming the Cavs play better without number 45 in the lineup. What say you to that theory?
I'm going to go with Stephen A. Smith voice and say, you guys should never talk basketball.
I agree.
Just don't talk basketball. It's not a basketball city like that. These guys ain't out here playing no ball. They don't. What are you talking about better without them? Like, just because you get these little Minimowski wins against these mid-tier, bottom feeder teams, Donovan Mitchell's second team All-NBA. At the end of the day, we need to really examine and say, all right, who's better? Like, because they're the same player, right? You go back and you have to ask yourself, who's better, Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell? The answer is obviously Donovan Mitchell. Who has more trade value, Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell? Obviously, it's Donovan Mitchell. The thing is, we're trying to grasp at straws. This is what we do a lot. We're trying to pull and yank, because you just know. Like, you've been in one of those relationships and you be like, man,
That ain't going to work.
you just my college girlfriend. Mm-hmm. Or, ooh,
This ain't long term.
this is, I went to prom with you, but you're not going to be, I'm not following, I'm going to school. Like, we know, we've all been in a relationship where we've loved before. We've loved the Cavs. We saw what the Cavs were when they were playing the Warriors. We saw Kyrie being a master. We saw the three-point shooting. We obviously had the best player in the world. So you know what it looked like when you were a contender. We know this ain't it. This is Wesley Person. This is old Sean Kemp. This is no disrespect. This is Brevin Knight. This ain't it. So, no, they're not better without him. They got a roster problem. They got a coach problem. They got a development problem. And the two good dudes they brought in here, I know it's your boy Niang. Niang is big as me. Niang is big, bro. He got
better cut that out.
He's big as me
Cut
right
that
now.
out, man.
And by the way, Strus is not a starter. How do you go from coming off the bench? How do you go from coming off the bench to all of a sudden you start and taking jump, just pulling up?
Wait, that's not fair on Strus. Everything else I agree with, but the Strus part's not fair.
What?
He's not a starter. I don't think he's a
not
starter
a
either.
starter.
Without Garland and Mobley and without Mitchell, they're asking him to do way more than he ever was.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Doesn't mean he's not
I
a
agree
starter.
with him on that. I don't think Strus is a starter either.
He's not a starter on the
That's
top
crazy.
team.
That's
I just
crazy.
don't.
He was starting on the finals team last year.
He's a great guy to bring off the bench to give you 3-point shooting, but I think in his mind, he's got it confused now that he's like an A-lister.
Well, because they have no one else to score right now, he's playing out of context. Earlier in the season when they had their guys,
that's what we're
he fits
judging
more.
on.
But right now, G, you're right. Like he's not. You can't rely on Max Strus as the second scorer.
No.
But to say he's not a starter, I think that would be going a little
he's a
overboard.
starter. If that's the problem, if he's a starter on your team,
That's a problem. Well,
we got a problem.
I mean, well, we got a problem with the roster, period, because McNuggets is one that said that Donovan Mitchell isn't a number one option on a championship team.
Well,
Yeah, I stand on that.
See,
right.
we already in.
I mean, I think that
we already down right there.
I would like, obviously, it's silly when a team wins a few bogus games with a bunch of guys missing. That is meaningless. But I will say this. I think I and most other people were completely wrong about the Donovan Mitchell trade. I think the Donovan Mitchell trade, in the long run, as good as he is, and he's a great player, he's an all-star, the Donovan Mitchell trade has not, I think, not been good for the Cavaliers. I think and I don't even blame him. I think it has stunted the growth of the young players on this team who actually, I think, want to be here. Donovan Mitchell doesn't want to be here, and you can pretend all you want that he does, but if he did, he would have signed an extension. He doesn't want to be here. He's made that perfectly obvious, and I know there's a segment of fan base, Bull, you don't know shit about the NBA. You're right. I don't know that much about the NBA. I'm not lying, but I know enough. And you're going to say, well, he hasn't said that, so why would you say he wasn't? Well, he's not going to flat out come out and say, no, I don't want to be here. It's clear he doesn't want to be here, and that's why he's going to be gone. I love trading for superstars. I think it makes a lot of sense in most cases, but I think I was completely wrong. I think this has hurt the franchise. It has set it back. It's going to lose. It's going to lead to the firing of the coach. It may lead to the firing of the GM. And who knows? Maybe Evan Mobley was never going to be any more than he is, but it certainly wasn't going to happen. He's not. Clearly, Mitchell and Darius Garland are not a good fit together. That's clear. I and many other people ignored that, but it is clear that they don't fit well together. I don't like the fact that when people were criticizing Deshaun Watson for not playing with an injury, I thought that was absurd. But I think this is a different story. Donovan Mitchell not playing for 2 weeks because he's sick when he's sitting on the bench. If I'm sick, I'm not sitting on the bench. I don't know what's going on there. That felt like some sort of protest. He hates the coach. I don't know if the coach is any good or not. I don't know the NBA well enough to know whether he's a good coach or not. All I know is everybody thought he was okay until Donovan Mitchell started, shitting on him behind the scenes for the last few months. So I think the thing is a mess. Now they got to trade him away. They would have been better off. I hate to say it. I think they would have been better off never making that trade. We'll never know. And just developing the young guys they had.
That's not. Well, I think the one thing that you said that makes a ton of sense is that Donovan Mitchell does stunt the growth for the other guys, because you had a young Darius, you had a young Evan. These guys needed opportunity to grow, and when you got Donovan out there, see, Donovan's not gonna sit back and be like, I'm gonna let y'all go tonight and let y'all do y'all thing. Donovan's going to look at it like, I got to be this guy and I'm going to carry us as far as I can. You guys will get better as the thing go on. You'll figure out how to play off of me. To whereas like a guy like LeBron would sit back and say, you know what? It's on you tonight. I'm going to give you the ball. I'm going to set you up and let you do your thing. I don't think Donovan's doing that. He don't seem like he's doing that. Maybe he is, and I'm just not paying attention.
But he's not LeBron. He's not.
True. That's true. But what I'm saying is, you got to help. If you want your supporting cast to be better, you got to help put them in situations. You know that they can't do it on their own, and you know that you're going to require a lot of attention. So you can do things. You can drive and kick, or you can get their attention and put them in position to score in some type of way. And you got to let them get better. You got to let them grow. But taking the ball out of their hands all the time and doing it yourself, that's not going to help them in any way. They're just going to look at you like a crutch.
I think when you talk about help, there's in basketball you got to have delusional confidence about what you are.
That's in any sport.
And you got to be. And Darius Garland, to me, he got that big deal. And I'm not knocking him. I think he's a nice player, but I think we overestimate how good he is. If you were to sit there and list point guards, everybody, and we do this in everybody's top 5 till you start listing.
Right.
And so you got to write them names down. You're like, ooh, this is kind
But
of.
nobody really thinks he's.
Who said he was
You
top
think people
5?
think he's top 5?
We got Darius Garland locked up. I'm like, so? Like you gotta spend the money on somebody to be truthful.
Darius is a facilitator.
I don't know, what is he elite at?
Facilitating.
He's an elite facilitator.
Yeah.
He doesn't do it like Halliburton.
Is he a good facilitator?
He's a good.
Not elite.
He's probably
right.
I don't think he's elite. I think he's second tier.
He's a tier 2 guy. And the problem with Evan Mobley is he went from a tier 1 defender to he's good help side. Or, he went from a guy.
But guys, the bottom line, like, outside of Steph Curry and Isaiah Thomas, has any team won a championship with a small guard as their best
we've
player?
talked about that on the
and
show
those
before.
are like those guys, as good as Donovan Mitchell is, he ain't Isaiah Thomas and he's not Steph Curry. Like he's not that level.
No.
Steph Curry's top 15 all time, and Isaiah's top 20 all time. Like,
Yeah, I mean those are two of the greatest players ever.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily a knock on
No,
Darius.
you just
It's not
can't win with that
Just like
guy
saying
being your
Donovan
best
Mitchell's
guy.
not LeBron James. Nobody's LeBron James.
Yeah, no.
No one. Period. Full stop. Here's the thing. I think the answer to this question gets complex. It reminds me a lot of the question that we were asking with Odell Beckham. When Odell Beckham Jr. was playing, the Browns weren't winning. And everybody was like, wait a minute. And then he goes out of the lineup, and Baker goes bananas, throws for 4 touchdowns. And everybody was like, is Baker better without OBJ? It's fair to ask that question, but sometimes a team doesn't add up to the sum of its parts.
A lot of times.
And a lot of times. And the most important thing in sports, I don't care what anybody says, I'll believe this until I'm put in the dirt. The most important aspect to a championship team is something you can't see, scout, coach, teach. It's chemistry. It happens organically. We're witnessing it in real time with these Cleveland Browns. Somehow, some way, Kevin Stefanski took 80 players to West Virginia, put them in a jar for 9 days, shook them up, and the sum result of that is a team that has bonded. These guys love each other. It's not fake, it's real. We've had players tell us either on camera or off, we do things in our free time together. That's weird. We haven't done that in the past. They're getting together on their off time and spending time with one another. With this group of Cavaliers, I think what happened was everybody, including myself, and we all did, made the assumption that you're going to take a top 15 player and you're going to put him into a group which had unbelievable potential and filled with young players. And the assumption was that the reaction of that chemistry experiment was going to be positive. Well, it wasn't, and it hasn't been. And I think you hit the nail on the head, and I'm glad you said it so it's not my conspiracy theory. I think what we're seeing is some sort of a protest from Donovan Mitchell because he doesn't like this coach, and he does want change. And if you go back 2 months ago, early in the season, he made comments where it's hard to read between the lines, but when I read the comments and he's saying something's got to change, and I think he was talking about the coach.
And I think
100%.
I think rightfully so. I think when you get to a level in basketball, there's a level where somebody can take you. It's a difference between being a starter and getting guys to play hard and teach them progress and momentum until you get to that ceiling. And now you need a different voice. You need a different strategy. You need a different guy that's going to come in and say, hey, Ty Lue, come on in here. David Black, that was nice.
Oh, they chased him out of town, Ty Lue.
Well, my thing.
But he got
But
it
how many
done.
coaches are there like that in the NBA?
But
5, 8?
But they do that. They do that all
Yeah.
the time in the league. My thing is they got to have a.
I do think when you recognize as an organization that your superstar player is done with your coach, as much as I hate to say this,
Yeah, you're screwed.
I hate this. I hate that this is the way it is.
Yeah.
It is a players' league, period.
Especially in the
And
NBA.
when you come to the agreement, or when you come to the assumption or the realization that your superstar player is not playing his hardest for your head coach, you can't fire the player.
No.
You got to make a change.
My question about Donovan Mitchell, and McNuggets, you probably would know this. How is Donovan on defense?
When he wants to be, he's a pretty good defender. But just like every superstar in the NBA, they don't play defense.
All right,
Yeah, they play it when they want to, when it's important.
Yeah.
So my question is, if we're struggling right now as a team because we have what you call 2 small guards, he wants to go to the Knicks. Ain't that essentially the same situation?
Well, how many times, though, have players wished themselves into a situation that was worse?
Oh, that happens
It
a
wouldn't
lot.
be the first
That
time.
happens a
But
lot.
I think with him, Bolt alluded to this, he doesn't want to be here. He fooled all of us. At the news conference, we said the next day, he won the news conference.
Yep.
He said everything you would want an incoming superstar to say. However, he hasn't said much since. But what he has said with his actions is that he wants to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
And we all, I think we didn't correlate it to the Deshaun Watson thing with the Cavs, right? Because we look at it like, okay, well, the Cavs have, if the Cavs are good, cool. We all know it's a Browns town. The problem is when Deshaun Watson got here, everybody's expectations, we was cut dry, we knew what it was. When Donovan Mitchell got here, it was the same trade if you look at it. It's the same 3 first-round draft picks. It's the same extension.
But we
the
said
money
that
and
at the
commitment.
time. We said this is an all-in move.
Yeah, it's an all-in
like
move,
the
yeah.
Browns on Watson.
100%.
And so if this was the Browns and this was the all-in move and we got this result, we would be losing it.
That's a fact.
But because it's the
Which
Cavs,
we were last year.
Oh, we was going crazy.
Yeah.
We was going, but since it's the Cavs and it's like, okay, well, all right.
Yeah.
We saw what it was with the Knicks. We don't have that
But G,
expectation level.
Doesn't that just speak to Cleveland being a football town? We care more about football.
Yeah.
When they're good, we care more. When
Yeah.
they're bad, we bitch more.
Yeah.
Like the Cavs and the Indians can fly under the radar if they're bad, Guardians.
Right. Yes.
Because we care when they're good.
Yes.
With the Browns, we care even more when they're bad. And everybody becomes accountable.
There's no such thing as under the radar with the Browns.
Nothing.
That could ruin your day.
But I want to get back something you said there about chemistry. Look, listen, we all know you got to have talent. The Browns have a lot of talent.
They do.
We know that. If I don't care what your chemistry is if you have no talent.
You're right.
However, the difference between the good teams and the great team, or between maybe a mediocre team and a good team, is that chemistry. The chemistry, good chemistry, makes the good team great. Bad chemistry makes a good team mediocre.
You're right.
Right? So forever, the Browns were not that talented and had terrible chemistry. Now, maybe they go hand in hand.
Right.
But there are sometimes, look at the Padres in baseball. I know it's baseball, but they had a loaded with talent.
Yeah, they
the
did.
Mets, loaded with talent. They didn't win.
They put a lot of superstars in the room.
Yep.
And to use the analogy with the Browns, they put them in a jar, they shook them up, and it exploded. Some
right.
chemistry experiments produce favorable results. The one thing I think there should be a study of team chemistry. I think
absolutely.
somebody should do deep dives. Find the teams that over the years had the best chemistry. And we
actually
can
was a
rattle off
tiny
a
study
bunch
like
of them
that,
here.
Jay.
What's that?
The 2007 Suns. It was the
Yes.
first D'Antoni.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
It's a stupid thing, but someone legitimately researched this, and there's a whole style. I'll see if I can find it. I'll put it in the chat. But the Suns, they tracked this. And I'm not kidding. This is a legitimate study. Gave more high fives and patted more dudes on the butt after timeouts, and they were
funny.
like, "This chemistry
Wow, that's a
is
lot
here."
of counting.
Wait a
And
minute.
that's it. I swear to you, I'm not making this
No,
up. I'll drop the link
listen.
below.
Hold on, wait,
I
you
remember
talk-
that team.
Are you talking about the Suns that had
Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire
with
and Roger
Jason
Bell.
Richardson
They didn't
and
win the
Leonardo
title.
Barbosa?
They didn't win the title, but they
But-
led the regular season and wins that year.
That's a terrible example.
No, it's really not.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
really not, Titus. They captivated the NBA for a year.
They changed the league.
They did. They changed the league. And here's the thing,
Jay.
Tyvis, even though they didn't win a championship, and there are a lot of teams that have great chemistry that don't win the titles. I'm not saying that great chemistry equals
Sure.
championship.
No.
But what I will say is, if you do a deep dive on all of the teams that have won championships in all the major sports over the last 20 years, go in and interview the coaches, the players, get the behind-the-scenes stories. This is an anonymous thing. We're attaching no names to anything. If you had a problem with a teammate, air it. We're not going to give any names. I think what you'll find more often than not, and to your point that winning breeds, it's easier to be in a good mood when
That's
you're
right.
winning. But I do think that chemistry, that piece of it, you can't buy it.
No.
You can't fake it. You can't create it. It happens on its own organically.
Now I would say the two examples, I think, of teams that maybe didn't have great chemistry but won anyway.
Is the Cavs.
That Cavs team that won. Now, I mean, I don't know that LeBron and Kyrie didn't love each other.
But what did it
Kevin
take? It took an
Love.
all-time great superstar and
Yeah.
an all-time great finals performance.
And the 70s Yankees. Those teams
I was going to
hated
say
each
the
other.
mid-70s Yankees
Yeah.
had more drama. And Billy Martin said before he died, when he was being real candid about what was
Yeah.
going on, he said, I never created it on purpose, but I didn't shy away from it because I knew it was going
Yeah.
to make my guys play harder.
The Suns,
Interesting.
the Suns is a horrible example.
No, I was saying that's the study.
I
wasn't
thought
giving you
the
an example.
Indians.
That was the study.
I thought the Indians in 2016 had great.
They had great chemistry.
They really did. Great chemistry.
To put a cap on this for Super Chats, the Cavs are absolutely not better without Donovan Mitchell. It's silly to
No.
even suggest that they would be able to make as deep of a run without Donovan as they could with.
Well,
So-
nobody's saying that.
Couple super
None of
chats.
us are saying
No,
that.
nobody
No.
here
I'm
said
just.
that.
I'm saying that's
Mike,
where the whole
did
conversation-
you agree? Do you agree that the Cavs made a mistake looking back? Or no?
In the moment, I'm always for going to get a superstar. You need a superstar to
Of
win.
course.
In hindsight, looking back at the 2020 or the 20,000-foot version, Lauri Markkanen and a first-round pick was the price for Donovan Mitchell. Everything else was excess. So, yeah, they paid too much.
I agree with
and
that.
it's none of the growth. Couple super chats. We're going to end with the super chat from Skilly, which we missed the other day, but I want to talk about for a few seconds. But Young Majestic said, been a Browns fan for 35 years. I love what's going on, but getting kind of frustrated that's become all about Joe Flacco and less about the Browns.
I couldn't disagree with that more. Yes, Joe Flacco's a big story. We've talked about a million things about the Browns, not just about Joe Flacco.
Is he talking about the national thing?
I think it's just the big picture. It's
Big picture?
all him, yeah.
I'd
Michael
agree
Hosar
with you.
says,
It's a great story, Joe Flacco.
Michael Hosar says the Browns are the second best team in the AFC. Ryan Conter says Dalvin Cook makes no sense. Nobody adds a third running back that might have no special teams value. Matt Adams, Mike Ford, Pierre Strong are key guys on kick and punt coverage. Newton Freer says Grant Delpit, another guy who changed my opinion. That's a good one. And last, Martin Yates says it's barely 35 games into the season. You guys are already writing the Cavs obituary. Other than a few teams, most of the NBA is around 500. Not writing their obituary.
I'm not writing their obituary
Nobody's
either.
saying that.
Yeah.
We feel like we in that situation where are the Cavs going to win a championship this year? Probably not. They're going to make the playoffs? Sure. Are they going to win a series? That's the question. Maybe they win one, but they're not going to win a championship. And ultimately, when you made that trade, you were saying that you were going all in for a championship. And the Browns have done, I mean, not the Browns, the Cavs have done nothing but put themselves in a situation where they'll be a good regular season team. They might win maybe a series in the playoffs, but that's as far as they're going to go.
And the Browns move was made to win a championship. Here, the Browns are closer to reaching that goal than any point in the last 4 years, and as close as they've been to reaching that goal at any point in the last 25 years. And the interesting thing about it is it has nothing to do with the all-in move that they made.
Right.
They're here in spite of the all-in move that they made.
Yeah.
But real quick, Skilly sent us a super chat on Friday. Skilly, I apologize for missing it, but it was a great question. I want to touch on it for the last few minutes here before we wrap up. If the Browns win the Super Bowl, will they make a Browns movie on this season, essentially Remember the Titans 2.0? And if so, who plays some of the key characters? Tyvis, Bull, Jay?
I don't know what it has to do
Cast
with
it.
Remember the Titans, which is about a high school team, but okay.
Yeah, I think
I
just
did.
a look back on this.
I said it's
championship
more about
movie.
the natural part, too, because Joe Flacco, his career was over. But
Yeah.
anyway,
I said-
who would play who?
I said
Let's
George Clooney for Kevin Stefanski. I said Chris Evans for Joe Flacco. The Rock because he's so big for Myles Garrett. And I don't know who I had for who's the last person? Joe
about-
no, not
Joe Woods.
Jim Schwartz.
Jim Schwartz. Yeah, who's playing Jim Schwartz?
I don't know.
Who plays Jimmy Haslam? Christopher Walken?
Jimmy Haslam. Christopher Walken's white.
So is Jimmy Haslam.
Oh, Jimmy Haslam. Oh,
What is wrong with you?
I was thinking it in my mind.
Did you know something that I don't know?
In my mind,
I'm about to say the same
in my mind, I heard
That's the
Andrew
biggest
Berry.
blunder.
I was thinking Andrew
I was
Berry.
like, did
I'm
we
saying
draft
let a
him?
naysayer know.
My bad, let a naysayer know.
What? Say what?
That's a bad job out of
Hey, I
me.
got a good one for Miles Garrett. Terry Crews.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
a good
that's
one.
a good one.
Yeah.
You need somebody that's jacked.
Yeah.
That's why I said The Rock because he was a former player. You know,
I
Terry
tweeted.
how to
Crews
do the
fits the bill.
stunts.
I tweeted about somebody for Flacco the other day, and I can't remember who I
Well,
said.
the Property Brothers might slide in, even though they're not really.
Yeah.
Josh
to see either one of them
Duhamel. You
throw
guys know who
football.
Josh Duhamel is?
No.
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah, he'd be a good one.
This
for
guy.
Flacco.
Yeah.
Flacco.
Yeah. That could be. That could be definitely.
He was
Flacco.
he played a hockey player recently in another.
So he's probably an athlete.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's weird because, like, all right, we're living through it.
Yeah.
Like, so I can't wait to see, like, because the last time we went to the playoffs, you went out of your house. So you didn't even go to the grocery store.
That's true.
So it was
When they played their last game that year in front of an empty stadium.
So I want to see, like, is it palpable? Like, can you know, is it going to be big where you like, I can feel it. This is a huge. And if they do win the first game, what are people going to be doing? Because if you go, I mean, as you march towards the Super Bowl, the story gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, by the time you get to the AFC Championship game, like, the whole world will be here by then.
By the way, it is possible
That they host that game.
they host the second round game.
Yeah.
Now
all the wild card teams have to win.
All have to win. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
and the 2 seed.
No, the Browns are the 5. If
Yes,
6 and
if
7
all the wild
also
cards-
win,
right.
then 7 would play the Ravens and the Browns would host
But the
six.
Chiefs would have to lose at some point when they come in.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, not the
Chiefs would
Whoever's
lose.
The Ravens. The Ravens.
So hold on.
No, in the second round, the Ravens would be hosting the 7 seed.
It's possible the Ravens and Browns could play in the AFC Championship game.
yes?
Yes, that's
And in that
true.
case, the Ravens would host it.
It would be in Baltimore.
So
yeah.
all the wild card teams have to win,
Okay.
And then the Browns would
and
have
then
a
the
second
Ravens
round
have
game.
to lose in their first round.
No. What I'm saying is, if the Browns win,
Yes.
they could host the next round
Okay.
and then go on the road in the AFC Championship game potentially.
They could also host the
but they
AFC
could also host the
Championship
AFC Championship game also.
So
yeah.
they have to have 6, 7 win.
Yeah.
See you in overtime. Peace.
Yeah.